child abuse, I tell you.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 20th, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 758.
This is No Agenda.
Surfing the air stream of consciousness on the I Love Laundry Tour and broadcasting live from Santa Fe, New Mexico. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I think Adam just discovered the name of his trailer, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
I said, Flying Burrito still has a ring to it?
Yes, but Airstream of Consciousness.
Isn't that nice?
In script, along the side and the front.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It's like, wow, people would be coming, who must this guy be? He's in the Airstream of Consciousness.
That was a record. That was from the hashtag name that trailer. Someone came up with it. Yeah, someone came up with it.
Great name. That's the one I'd pick.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like the Flying Burrito.
Well, it can always be. We can always have Flying Burrito, like kind of like the Memphis Belle, little just a little subtext.
And a burrito, I have to have a little painting of a small burrito with wings,
with boobs,
wings and boobs,
wings and boobs. We're here in lovely Santa Fe, New Mexico, John. At the campground, and
okay,
oh man,
explain.
I have so much to tell you about the tour, which is we've already done two cities.
Apparently, you crapped out right halfway through it. You ran out of gas. Don't you ever check your gas gauge?
No, I did not run. Well, okay. Here's what happened. Now, the Dodge Ram is not able to pull this trailer. This trailer is 5,000 pounds. And the Dodge Ram has about 94 horsepower left, I think. And we know we ran into trouble with that thing even with a 19-foot trailer a couple of years back. Now, luckily, in the divorce, I inherited the Ford Explorer, which, with appropriate towing package, is rated at exactly 5,000 pounds. Okay. So that's good. What's not so good is the mileage. I'm getting about, I'd say average 10 miles to the gallon.
That's what I would have expected.
But the tank is so small. I think it's a 17-gallon tank or something. So,
17-gallon tanks are for 20 miles. The tank of gas is supposed to take you, I think, there's like a rule of thumb. I think it's 400 miles. Tank of gas should take you 400 miles.
Yeah, no, I'm getting 200 miles. About 200. And so first, I picked up the Airstream of Consciousness at the storage place, and the first thing it says, "Oh yeah, give us a second," because I said, "Could you please clean it?" And I see some dude conspicuously doing some stuff. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, the little ant problem," and he's spraying.
You're listening to No Agenda Stream.
Docking underneath. Like, really? So
you got ants in the you had ants in your pants?
A few ants in the trailer, but most of them were underneath. I guess we picked them up in Galveston or something. So they traveled all the way back.
Were they a fire ant? What kind of ant?
Yes. Yeah, fire ants. Oh yeah.
Oh, they bite you at night.
Yeah. Well, no, they're all gone. They're dead. So I start driving to Lubbock. Now, Lubbock, the distance between Austin and Lubbock, there's a whole lot of absolutely nothing. And but I'm driving along, so I'm trying to get.
Right, you better have a full tank of gas and lots of canteens of water.
Right. So
and snake bite.
So I had not yet acquired my requisite jerry can of emergency gas, and so I'm thinking I can get to I got to get to Sweetwater, and it's like I got half a tank, it should be okay. I'm driving along, I'll pick something up between Cole and Sweetwater, where the hell I was, and I'm driving along, and John, there's nothing. There's not even towns.
These towns.
There's not even towns. There's like a broken down shack on the right, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm looking, I see a sign, Sweetwater, and I look at my distance to empty, or miles to empty. So I've got 25 miles to empty, and Sweetwater's 37 miles. I'm thinking, I can probably do this if I'm really careful. And of course, now I'm going uphill. It's like everything's working against me. And I'm like 3 miles, and I see Sweetwater is still 15 miles away. And I have never, this is not a mechanical indicator. It's all electronic. I have no idea if it's accurate. If can I coast in on fumes? It's 98 degrees. I'm thinking, I do not want to be stuck on the side of the road, 98-degree heat, trying to figure out how to get some gas. And now it's 0 miles to empty. And I'm easing off on the gas. When it's downhill, I'm trying to coast a little bit. I'm like, I'm so screwed. And then on the left, up on a little embankment, I see what looks like a trading post. So exactly. So I pull her over onto the shoulder. I get out. I walk up, and there's this kind of like a mountain man idea. Bill. Wild Bill is his name. Say, hey, Bill, you got any gas? He says, nope. Can I buy some? He says, no, you can't. Are you going to play the harmonica during my whole story?
I think it's that he needs it. It adds the extra drama. You're stuck. The heat. We can feel it.
It gets better.
It's 90 degrees. You're out of gas.
That's right.
From some basic stupidity we don't really understand, but we're not even going to question you about it. It can happen to anybody. And now you run into Bill in Sweetwater.
No, he's 12 miles. I said, Bill, where's the nearest gas station? 12 miles up the road. I said, I'm on empty. You sell me some gas. He says, nope, I don't want people thinking I'm Exxon, but I'll give you some. And so, what was that?
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
He doesn't because if he sells you gasoline, the word will get out
that he's Exxon. Yeah,
that he's Exxon.
I guess. And so he's walking around. This is like a junkyard. This shit everywhere. And he says, "Well, this used to be a gas station." And
that's interesting.
I got a jerry can over here. And he says, I had an Airstream. For 10 years, every year we did 40 states. I'd be selling jerky out of the back of it. Yeah, it was good until the crisis hit. Me and Sweetwater Sue, we decided to buy this place, sell the Airstream. So he was kind of an Airstreamer. So, he felt my pain.
Oh, okay.
And so then he has this little gallon of jerry can, just 1 gallon with those
jerry can. You use that word a lot. It's a can of gas.
Isn't it called a jerry can?
I never called it that. I don't know.
It's a European thing. All right, so I'm crossing the road, and people are doing 75 down this road. So you got to be careful too. And
why?
Because it was right over. I'm right behind a hill, so I can't see if someone's coming barreling down 75 miles an hour. So I'm crossing the road carefully, and I stick the thing in the tank, and I'm like, wow, it's so empty. I can hear it clattering at the bottom of the tank, and oh no, it's clattering onto the road.
Because you're not getting it in the tank.
Because these newfangled tanks have they don't have a screw top. They have some safety latch mechanism, and you have to have exactly the right
hose size.
Exactly. So I'm sitting. So now I'm with
to keep you guys from putting cheap gas in.
Yeah, shut up, slave. So now I have a pan to unlatch it. And I'm holding it in. It's I'm missing a third hand. So I get about 3/4 of a gallon in. And this point, Bill's in. He's looking over my shoulder, and I said, "But hey, man, I really appreciate you. Can I buy this gas?" No, I don't want anything. So what do you sell in the shop? He says, books and jerky.
Jerky.
Said jerky pays the bill.
Real hot weather, you can use some nice dry jerky.
So I go in, and he's got in the front a bookstore, and it's guns. There's a couple of Unix books. There's some Texas history books. It's a crazy collection, and I see a box set, the Stieg Larsson trilogy. With and they're hardcover. They're all different colors. It's some kind of, I don't know, some special edition. I said, I'll take this. And then I see his jerky collection. He's got bison, he's got venison. So I pick up a couple of those. And I say, hey, man, thank you so much. He says, oh, yeah, I can use all the karma I can get. I said, well, you're talking to the right guy. So if you're ever 12 miles south of Sweetwater, go say hi to Wild Bill and Sweetwater Sue. And pick up some
but what
jerky.
Is the name of their store?
It's Wild Bill's Jerky. I think it's Wild Bill's Perfect Jerky or something. So I make it to Sweetwater.
Well, at least he's not the man. He's not a suit.
Oh no. But he said, yeah, after when we retired, he was talking about where he wanted to live, and he said at the top of the list was Florida and all these places. At the bottom of the list is Detroit, New York City, hell, and West Texas, which is okay. Of course, this was West Texas, which is pretty much just oil rigs, drilling rigs. Nothing. Oh, and there is a huge array of windmills. As far as the eye can see, it's huge.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either. They seem to all be turning and working, so that's good. Then let's see.
So you got your 3/4 of a gallon. You finally got to fill your tank.
I did. I've learned a lesson. I bought myself a tank, a gas can, so that that problem won't happen again, and I'll pace myself a little better. And got to Lubbock. Now, Lubbock, of course, is home to Texas Tech. It apparently is the fastest growing city in the United States right now.
Lubbock?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I learned all this at the meetup. And it wasn't really so much a meetup as it was kind of like a dinner. We had producers Richard there, Heather and her boyfriend Ike, and at some burger joint, Buffalo Burgers, very nice. And
was it actually Buffalo Burgers?
Yeah, or Bison, whatever they call it. Bison, yeah. And these are millennials, and they love the show. Like, oh man, where would I be? I'd be so clueless and lost and voting for Bernie if it weren't for the show.
Bernie. They'll probably vote for Bernie anyway.
Maybe. That was nice. We had a nice chat. It was really dinner and just some drinks. And also, Lubbock is the largest producer of cotton in the world. Did you know this?
I did not. I know Texas grows a lot of cotton and is considered very good.
Yeah.
But I had no idea. I thought California was a larger producer.
No, they say that they're, because, when we were talking about Chinese cotton and all that, I don't know, man, we're the biggest. We're the
Egyptian
biggest.
cotton is good stuff.
Yeah. But apparently the biggest producer is Lubbock, and their economy's growing. But, it's
it's Lubbock.
It's Lubbock. And you drive around and you see just like this, the new buildings are just out there kind of in the prairie, just like this little community pops up, and it's nothing but.
Yeah, it's America's version of Dubai.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison, actually. Fantastic lightning storm. Oh, so good.
I love those Southwest lightning storms. There's nothing like them.
Fantastic. Really nice.
Because because it's not as though you really have to wait. It's just bang,
and just huge bolts of lightning, huge bolts.
Yeah.
And now the temperature is
and you're just driving around a metal trailer.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? But it's nice and cool. At night it went down into the high 60s. So so I was able to sleep in the trailer without the air conditioner on. Very nice. Oh, by the way. Lubbock also has the highest proliferation of sexually transmitted disease in the United States as well. They're very proud of this. And
they must be, or they wouldn't be bragging about it.
And there were two STDs mentioned to me, which I had not heard of. One is radar rash.
I've never heard of radar rash.
No, not radar. Raider.
Like Oakland Raider?
Yeah, radar rash.
All right.
And hold on a second. Yeah, you need to you need to look for these to find out what it is. But
well, you already did, so tell us.
Well, of course. Slang term for a rumored sexually transmitted disease that comes from the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
So somehow the football team or the basketball team of Texas Tech, probably the football team,
football team, yeah,
is got some unknown disease.
Well,
they're passing around.
Well, the disease. Well, here it comes. The disease is known as blue waffle, which I had never heard of, and I go look it up. But
This sounds like one of those, like a jackalope.
It's kind of what it is.
They just drove you down there
just to screw with me.
Yeah,
blue waffle. I looked it up.
This is bullcrap.
Yeah, it is. It's supposed to be some kind of rash or something, and the lady parts smell really bad and have a blue haze to them. It's like
smoke's coming off of them.
I'm like, show me an example of this, please. Well, no one had any examples for me, unfortunately. But they do STDs apparently rampant there because they got nothing better to do than drink, watch football, and pass nuts along.
What was the other offbeat disease? You said there were two.
No, it was Raider rash, which
was blue waffle.
Well, I believe it's the same thing, yeah, except that it comes from the football team. I got to tell you,
it comes from the football team.
I got to tell you though, John, the difference between, well, besides having the Airstream of Consciousness, the difference between previous tours and this one is the technology has made it so nice to travel. I mean, this car has Sirius, so I could listen to CNN and Fox and MSNBC on the way, which it's torturous, but you know, when you're driving 5-6 hours alone, it's okay. I had a ton of podcasts, which I was just able to play one after another. All the stuff that we really couldn't do previously, and I have the Verizon connection, which did pretty well throughout most of the trip, and surprisingly, even T-Mobile gave me some good LTE connectivity. It's really surprising how nice it is to travel.
Now? What are you doing?
Well, okay, so I arrived just at sunset here at the campground in New Mexico, and I only get
Albuquerque?
Santa Fe.
Okay.
And so I check out the Verizon MiFi. It's only getting 3G, which is not going to be enough. And so I tried to set up the booster. Oh, man. I was up until 10 last night working on in the dark. I could not get it to work. I think it's something with the registration process or something is not happening. So I couldn't get that to work. Luckily, the iPhone has a pretty decent LTE connection on T-Mobile. So I'm using that, except I'm not using it to do the routing, which was the mistake we made last time. I have the little portable Wi-Fi router, which is doing all the routing for all the devices. So, knock on wood.
So you're coming in right now. Good quality, by the way.
Yeah,
and we're seeing a lot of latency.
And we're streaming at the same time. Everything's fine.
Off of an iPhone 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple other things. So, but went through Fort Sumner. Fort Sumner, known as?
Fort Sumner?
No. Home of Billy the Kid.
Fort Sumner's home of Billy the Kid?
Apparently.
No.
Yeah. Took a little mini detour and did a bit of the route on Route 66 just to do it. And then the last hour, as I was so bored with what was on the satellite radio, I was surfing around and I came to this. It's called the Progress Channel 127.
In the local jargon is Route 66.
What did I say?
Route.
Oh, Route 66. It's where I get my kicks. And so there's this satellite channel called Progress. And it's
a satellite channel?
Yeah, on Sirius XM.
Progress?
It's called Progress, Channel 127. And it's, it's left-wing talk radio.
Oh, that should be fun.
Oh, if you have to listen to this. It is so unbelievable. Black conservatives, they're all Uncle Tom. That's the kind of stuff and this is a black host. And then people are calling in just like they are crazy, they're nuts, they're racist, all they hate coming off of this, Democrats.
They're haters.
And just mockingly smug and they're shit. It's so sad, man. You got to listen to it. If you haven't.
What band is it on?
It's Sirius XM. It's channel 127.
Yeah, I know, but there's a bunch of different bands.
What the hell do I know what band it is? I don't have to tune the VFO just to listen to Sirius.
No, if you're in a lot of these Sirius radios, you have these different bands, and then you have I think there's 4 or 5 of them, and channel 1. There's a 127, I think, on many of them. That's okay. I can find it.
I have no idea.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so I will work on the booster. I got to figure out how to get, because this is the perfect spot because it will receive. I just need to boost it. I just can't get the booster to lock into frequency or whatever it is. So I'll work on that. And then we have a meetup this evening here in Santa Fe, and then tomorrow I'm off to Colorado Springs, where we'll have another meetup.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, and it's great. It's fun to meet people, fun to be out here, and quite phenomenal that this can be done. And I think that for the show, You know how many people have said, "Oh, we'll get an Airstream and we'll podcast live from the Airstream." Well, you know what? Your No Agenda show is doing it.
I've never heard any other shows claim to want to do that.
Oh, someone we know very well says it all the time.
Huh.
Yes, Leo. All the time. All the time. Yeah, we'll take the show on the road. But I've heard this a lot. And radio, and radio guys. There's tons of people do this. And I have to thank our producer Angela Castaneda from Lost Wages. She has been a godsend. She gives me spreadsheets with. I'll show you. I have a call sheet for every leg of the tour.
Sheet.
It's fantastic. Now here it is. So
you like to be organized.
So Santa Fe, the meetup. So Sunday, 5:30, Blue Corn Cafe and Brewery. Then she has Santa Fe info. So the weather, sunrise, sunset, expected temperature, closest Best Buy. The campground, emergency numbers. This woman is fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of person that she does that for a living.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this.
Yeah.
So, no squawks. Everything else is good. I think we're doing good. I'm a little tired.
I would think so.
Also, an hour earlier here, so instead of getting up at 7, I got up at 6. Or at least local time 6
to do the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I have I'm sitting in the dinette. I have the front window open. It's called the dinette. I have the front window open.
I'm in the dinette.
Why do you mock me?
Yeah, I just think it's so quaint.
It is. It's not. I'll take another picture of the studio, and you can see right out. You can see. Yeah, it's great. I'll be here in the hills, so it's dynamite. Having a good time.
Surprised you don't get the cop knocking on the thing. What's going on in there?
No. People leave you alone. That's what I like. Although I came back. I did a few groceries last. I did a really nice supermarket nearby, and I see these two people. I'm like, they're like dressed up like the woman's dressed up like a fortune teller, almost like a gypsy fortune teller, and the guy he looked like a pirate kind of. And they're standing over by their car, and whenever I'm near the Airstream, people are always going like, "Hey, is that an Airstream?" and one of my pet peeves. How do you like it? This is not. I do not like.
Why is this a pet peeve to you?
Because the question should be, do you like it, or how much do you like it? Not how do you like it. How do you like it means I like it, and I can't say I don't like it. It's like, how do you like it? You're presuming I like it. No,
you're way off on this, and I think you should be condemned.
No, but I do not like the how do you like it. It's
a short version of the questions you are claiming that you want asked.
No, but the question is, do you like it?
No, how do you like it is, do you like it?
No, that is what degree of do you have?
Hold on a second, because I've asked how do you like it, so I feel personally affronted here.
Okay.
To people, they have a car that I've been looking at, and I say, how do you like it? And that means, do you like it? And if you...
No, I disagree. It means you like it how much?
It's asking...
Okay.
I think essentially it says, how much do you like it?
Right. That's okay. Then say how much do you like it.
What's the difference in just saying, how do you like it?
Because I might not like it. Because I might not like it.
That's the point. If I'm asking you, how do you like it? And you say, I don't like it. You can do that. It's possible. It's part of the question.
Okay. So they come over and say, is that an Airstream?
That's dumb.
Yeah. How do you like it?
That's just a conversation starter.
Okay,
They're trying to get...
Fine.
Okay.
Yes. And then they say, how about that Explorer? I said, I got it in the divorce. Yeah. How do you like it? Anyway, they said, by the way, we're not hippies or anything. Because
this was the woman and the pirate?
Yeah. And I didn't ask. I should have said, how do you like being a pirate? No. I said, they offered to me, we're not hippies or anything. I said, okay. I'm ready for them to hit me up for money or something. I was like, yeah.
There's a woman and man in Port Townsend. They're notorious. There's a bunch of articles about them. And there's other ones around the country. These are millennials that are trying to live a Victorian life our life without television.
You're very close. You're very close. You're very close.
Yeah, this is not uncommon.
No, they explained to me they are vendors at the Santa Fe Renaissance Fair.
And when they're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Unless the fair was going on at the time, was it?
Yes. Yeah, it's all this weekend. Who knew?
Go.
I'd love to go.
Yeah.
If I can fit it in before the meetup, of course I'll go.
You should.
I bet it's dynamite. Go get some mutton and mead.
They don't have mutton at the Renaissance Fair.
Wow. Is it one of those days, John, where you're going to be like really in my face about everything? No, I'm just telling you
as a fact. I find it very disturbing.
That they don't have mutton?
Yeah.
Well, how do you know they don't have mutton?
I've been to Renaissance Fairs. I've been to the one in San Jose. I've been to the one up north. I've been to a couple, 2 or 3 of them. I knew a guy that works there. He's a vendor. And they don't have mutton at the Renaissance Fair. And I think I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just think it's bad.
Yeah, well, of course it's bad. I need my mutton and mead.
The whole Renaissance Fair should stink of mutton. And horse shit. I think that's the other thing that's missing.
Yeah. Blue waffle.
The aroma of the true Renaissance.
Blue waffle mead. Nice.
It's just, yeah.
Anyway, it's nice to be with you today, John, on the very last episode of the best podcast in the universe.
Okay. Are we the worst podcast from now on?
No, we'll never make Thursday. Thursday is the 24th. The Armageddon hits on the 23rd.
Oh, that's right. The Armageddon hits.
Yes.
On what, the 22nd to 23rd?
No, 23rd, which is Wednesday. And on the 23rd, I
have to put a goodbye into the newsletter.
Yeah. We have to say our goodbyes. Our last will and testament.
The newsletter comes out on what?
And the Pope...
The 23rd comes out on Wednesday, so we can do a goodbye on the newsletter.
Right.
Good knowing you, and then the end happens. I guess how's this happen? Is it going to I don't know.
Here's
global warming. What's going to kill us?
Here's what's happening this week
in Washington, where pressing the flesh is just part of doing business. Lawmakers have been given strict guidelines regarding the Pope's upcoming visit to keep their hands to themselves. Party leaders sent out a protocol advisory on Friday. No handshakes or long conversations with the pontiff before he delivers his speech to Congress. While no specific mention was made prohibiting them from kissing the Pope's ring, they've been reminded that Pope Francis is on a very tight schedule.
So he is going to be...
He's a busy man.
Yes, he's going to be speaking in... for Congress, for the entire Congress, and he's going to do the same walk the president does. He's coming through the door, and then everyone will be
walk.
Yeah, the presidential perp walk, exactly. And so they're saying, well, hey man, don't be kissing the ring, don't be shaking his hand, just let him go. This is pretty interesting.
There's Catholics. There's a lot of Catholics in Congress. They're going to want to kiss the ring.
That will be hilarious to watch. Well, no, we won't have to. I think it's Thursday, so it won't happen. So.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll do a rundown, some sort of special newsletter. A lot of people aren't getting the newsletter.
Oh?
Yeah, it's going in the boxes. They don't look at it. They don't care.
Well, they're missing.
This last newsletter had a good link that people should have read.
There were a number of good things in the newsletter, including another dynamite kitten picture. You're missing out, people. You're missing out. Go to the show notes. archive.noagendanotes.com, or this will be 758.noagendanotes.com, or just go to noagendashow.com. It's always there. A direct link to subscribe to the newsletter.
Yes, and people should. I don't know why they don't. And then again, when they subscribe, only if 45% of them get it. Just let it languish, so they miss out. I don't know what the point is.
I don't know.
Well, so I've been trying to pick up some. I've been finding some interesting PR out there, and I just want to get a couple of these out of the way with a clip.
Okay.
There's a little long clip, but this was the worst example. I don't know if when this one came up, I said, "Oh, now I get it. It's got to be Starbucks."
It's not pumpkin spice latte again, is it?
No, this is worse.
Okay.
This is gone. This follows on the heels of a bullcrap story that's been going around about if you drink 4 cups of coffee a day, which, by the way, is too much coffee to drink, you'll never get to sleep. Gee, I can't get to sleep. Let me take some pills.
You know what? It's interesting that when I drink coffee at night, it actually makes me sleepy.
No, well, that's a good thing.
I don't know why that is, but for some reason, I can have
in this report, it will tell you not to do that because it throws your sleep off by 40 minutes. I thought it did worse than that. But the 4 cups of coffee a day thing triggered it, and I started seeing more and more of these coffee stories out of the blue. They're all, and so somebody decided to drop this is the nuke of coffee stories. They got everything in here. They got reports and studies. And I mean, if you're not drinking coffee right now, you're crazy. But let's play this.
Or placebos. Watched them for 49 days. Blood and saliva samples revealed the caffeine blocked chemicals in the brain that promote sleep. The amount of caffeine in a double espresso shifted the body's natural sleep cycle back by an average of 40 minutes.
Another one. It's not espresso. I hear this espresso. No, it's not library and it's not espresso. It's espresso.
It's sleep. The amount of caffeine.
I want to make sure this is in the middle of the report. I mean, I chopped off this part because it's when they say, well, it'll keep you from getting a lot of sleep. But here's the good news, and then they go into this.
Okay. Well, I still want to hear that.
Promote sleep. The amount of caffeine in a double espresso shifted the body's natural sleep cycle back by an average of 40 minutes. On the flip side, that morning cup of Joe could also give you a boost if you're looking to get some exercise. Action News reporter Holly Furfer has more.
This is the package.
If you want a better workout, try a little caffeine before.
Wait, but who was she? Was she from the new? Is the package produced by them?
This is one of those local bot stories they gave it's a freebie. This woman you heard it first was a local news anchor, and now we go to some unknown woman.
Right, that's
Holly.
Exactly a package.
That's the package that somebody sent.
Gotcha.
If you want a better workout, try a little caffeine before you lace up your tennis shoes. It may boost your exercise routine. How so? For starters, if you're a trained athlete, it may help you burn more calories a few hours post-workout, according to a study out of Spain. Other research from Japan finds that drinking coffee may also improve circulation, getting our blood flowing a little more. Better circulation may mean a better workout. And a study from Johns Hopkins finds that caffeine helps improve memory. People who had about 8 ounces of coffee did better on memory tests given a day later. This brain boost may help with recall for your exercise routine. For endurance athletes, combining caffeine with carbs after a workout may increase the stockpile of muscle fuel, meaning more reserves for the next workout. That's according to a study in the Journal of Applied Physiology. But don't overdo it. If you do consume caffeine, keep it to about 400 milligrams a day, the equivalent of about a 16-ounce cup of coffee. And don't forget to continue to drink plenty of water.
Huh. Okay.
So they gave study after study after study, and they're showing lots of B-roll of coffee coming out of machines and coffee cups, and goes on and on. I'm watching this, thinking about the other number of stories I've heard about how great coffee is, and I think this has got to be Starbucks. Who's the major beneficiary of coffee, the coffee trend?
Yeah, Starbucks. But
they're behind it. They managed it, and this is the way you do good public relations. It's to promote something bigger. This is marketing. Yeah. Promote something bigger that you're a part of and you're taking advantage of, and you never mention yourself.
I think that Reuters is, as a part of their business, they're now doing native ads. I picked up one just since we're doing bullcrap stuff that is out there. This was a package that, now, the Reuters has some video feeds. The way they do it is they give you they actually have a feed that is without reporter. So no reporter narration, so you can do put your own local talent in.
Right. Yeah.
And so here is another trend.
Lena Roth is subjecting her body to temperatures below minus 266 degrees Fahrenheit because she says it feels great.
No, it does not feel great.
It's a procedure known as cryotherapy, and customers are undergoing the short-term freezing inside Manhattan's CryoLife Spa, which claims it's a way to boost metabolism and increase energy. Lena Roth agrees.
I cycle, so I can go and I can have 45 minutes of amazing workout session that I didn't have before.
I think she's a spinner. I think she goes to spin 45 minutes cycling. That's spin class.
And just I'm amazed at myself. I'm like a superwoman now.
CryoLife CEO Joanna Freiben says the treatment solves a variety of issues, like stiffness and insomnia.
Yeah, I'll bet I won't be stiff if I'm sitting in a 160-degree freezing tank.
She says it works by making the brain believe the body is freezing, which triggers an increase of blood enriched with oxygen, enzymes, and nutrients to flow to the body's core.
Anybody hears the temperatures of ranging from minus 284 to minus 264, they ask, are you freezing people there? No, we don't freeze people. It's actually safer than a hot sauna.
Oh.
But not all doctors are on board. Some say cryotherapy puts the body under stress, and despite the socks, gloves, and bathing suit, they say frostbite is a risk. But CryoLife Spa says the treatment, first developed in Japan, is a trend that is bound to evolve in the U.S. as word spreads and the public warms to the idea.
Yeah, all these news outfits have these native advertising bits now.
No, they're all going out of business, I guess. They need the money. But by the way, this thing will be over once the first person they drop in there has a heart attack on the spot and dies.
Oh, yeah.
Liability issues.
Apparently, according to the chat room, Joe Rogan does this.
Well, good for him.
He swears by it.
Swears by it.
Ugh. I don't know.
Well, it's like those Russians who like to jump into the water, you know. Freezing water up in Finland. There's this thing you jump into the water.
But that's not 160 degree below zero. No way. That doesn't sound
crazy.
Speaking of Japan, we've been tracking the change to the constitution that President Abe made. And I picked up a report. Of course, although I do have cable here at the lovely campground, I don't have my setup and to be able to pull clips off it. But I found this. Was it is it NHK, the Japanese news outfit? So you have to kind of tune in a bit to the woman, to her cadence and how she speaks, because she's speaking English. She explains exactly what this change means that Abe has made to the law.
We've been hearing that the legislation would lead to changes in Japanese security policy. What are some concrete examples?
The package expands the role of the self-defense forces in many ways. But the biggest change, of course, is that Japan can exercise the right to collective self-defense.
Collective self-defense?
Under certain conditions. Specifically, the SDF can use force to defend a country that's in a close relationship with Japan if that country came under attack. The legislation does not specifically mention the names of those countries, but government officials have referred to the United States, and if conditions are met, Australia.
Don't laugh.
So...
Wait, they're going to attack us? Is that what she said?
No, I had to listen to it a couple times myself. No, it is the right to collective self-defense, meaning Japan can join international military industrial complex groups such as the United States and, under certain circumstances, Australia, which means we have a brand new market that is wide open to sell to. And here's a little more from this report.
Why you are laughing?
Back in 2006, I was covering U.S. Naval Forces Japan, and the commander told me that Japanese people should consider allowing the use of the right. He said the U.S. Navy and Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force work side by side in many joint operations. Abe has repeatedly said the legislation is essential for protecting people's lives. And he says it's necessary so Japan can proactively contribute to regional and international peace and security. He appears to have had China on mind.
Don't laugh.
Oh, no, really?
China.
Let's attack China again.
Well, here we have douchebag McCain speaking to a couple of Pentagon officials, and I had to look up what he was talking about. You remember the law of the sea? They were trying to get all that stuff done and how important it was, and we have to move on this, and it has to do with the international.
We had to do it right away because it's so important. We had to do it right away,
and it still hasn't happened. However, McCain,
now, have we or have we not operated within the 12-mile limit in recent years?
I believe the last time we conducted a freedom of navigation operation within 12 nautical miles.
Freedom of navigation is the principle of customary international law that, apart from the exceptions provided for in international law, ships flying the flag of any sovereign state shall not suffer interference from other states. But the 12-mile territorial waters is, I think, what they were talking about with this law of the sea deal. And so you should be able to have freedom of navigation regardless of where you are, according to McCain and the Pentagon guys.
One of those features was 2012.
2012, 3 years ago.
Well, I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, that the South China Sea doesn't belong to China. We have, in recent years, conducted freedom of navigation operations in the vicinity of those features, and doing so again is one of the options, one of the array of options we're considering.
Well, it's an option that hasn't been exercised in 3 years. Admiral Harris, what do you feel about it?
Sir, I agree that the South China Sea is no more China's than the Gulf of Mexico is Mexico's.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll be doing some exercises in the South China Sea.
Well, the Chinese are building that island.
Yep.
In the South China Sea, as I recall.
And we had
to extend they feel they own the South China Sea.
Yeah. Well, McCain is saying screw them, they don't own it. And the Pentagon is saying they own it as much as Mexico owns the Gulf. Yeah, exactly. What's your problem? Shut up, everybody. We own that.
Shut up, slave.
Yeah. Well, and McCain, he's a smart guy. He knows that whoever comes into the White House, and that includes Bernie Sanders, they're all warmongers. Bernie Sanders a warmonger. He likes it. It's not often discussed.
Players are all warmongers. That's true.
Yeah, but even Sanders.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's
not a peacenik. You'd think that a guy that's a socialist, this sort of guy, the old-fashioned progressive, would be a peacenik, as they used to be called.
There was
you're a peacenik.
You had a peacenik, you had a beatnik.
Yeah, that was during that era. Sputnik, beatnik, peacenik.
Really? Is that where it came from the Sputnik?
Yeah. Well, the beatnik thing... The beatnik thing, I think, predated Sputnik.
Sputnik.
If I'm not mistaken. Then Sputnik came along.
Sputnik.
And then Peacenik came after Sputnik. I'm sure of that.
There was a funny piece. I thought it was funny. Bernie Sanders on the CBS morning show with, what's it, Charlie Rose. Oh, he's not in this piece. And what's the woman's name?
Nora?
Oh, Nora O'Donnell, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she asked a very simple question about, all this free stuff. And this has been an internet meme where I guess some right-wing think tank said, it's going to cost $18 trillion, all this stuff that Bernie wants, or $18 billion, whatever it is, some crazy amount. And then, factcheck.org is on it, and everyone's all fighting and all changing their icons on the face page. But she asked him a pretty simple question about being able to afford this, and he was a bit flustered, I thought.
What does that mean?
In fact, he even knocks over his coffee cup. He gets so flustered. You'll hear it in this clip.
What does that mean to make the wealthiest Americans pay their fair share? Would that mean taxing the wealthiest Americans at 90%?
No, I don't think you have to go up to 90%. But you can remember that under people like Dwight David Eisenhower, we had a tax system that was far more progressive.
But it's a trick when you say like Dwight David Eisenhower. I think he says that to make himself sound like an authority.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was talking to Adam Clark Curry, who the hell says Dwight David Eisenhower?
Dwight David Eisenhower, we had a tax system that was far more progressive than it was today. Which is
around 90%.
Yeah, I don't know that you have to go there. We will come up with some very specific ideas.
But how can you do that? I mean, you're promising free health care for everybody, college for everybody, paid leave, and you haven't yet said how you're going to pay for it. And you've suggested you would tax the wealthiest Americans at a rate about 90%.
No, I did not suggest that.
Then what would you tax the wealthiest Americans?
This is what we would do. If you want tuition-free public colleges and universities, which I believe we will have a tax on Wall Street speculation, which will more than pay for that.
You want to raise the corporate tax?
Whoops.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How much would you raise the corporate tax rate?
Because right now you've seen estimates. People are saying the estimate from the Wall Street Journal is $18 trillion.
But what the Wall Street Journal said...
You're listening to NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no.
We responded to it is that included $15 billion for a national health care program. What they say is that be paying, and this is not paying for part of the
you call it health so on. Democrats said we can't roll it back. They can't inherit. How could do it?
Because every other country in the world, one way or another, does it.
Yeah, and they're all broke. Yeah, what would be the solution? The only thing I could imagine if you really want to do that is to print money, right? I mean, how else are you going to do it?
We're printing money now.
Well, I know, but you'd have to print more, is what I'm saying.
It's going to be that's not happening.
Okay, then I ask.
You can't fully crop this guy.
Okay, thanks. There's the answer. Oh my, what is that? The furnace just kicked in. Oh, hold on.
Sorry, I missed that.
No, a fan just kicked in. Hold on, let me turn it off. All right, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I coming through? Because I get a lot of packet losses from you.
Yeah, and I got the same from the chat room. They say that they're having some kind of stream problems. I can't help it. It's what it is, people. Live with it. Sorry.
Can't help it. The girl can't help it. Can't help it. The girl.
You're listening to No Agenda.
Girl can't help it.
And what's nice, when something happens, when the stream goes out, like everyone jumps on. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. Glitch. You're so
you brought
hilarious.
That on yourself.
So hilarious. So hilarious.
You brought that on yourself.
What?
The glitch thing, because you made a fuss.
But it's not a glitch. It's very obvious. There's a bandwidth issue.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's very obvious.
Douchebags. All right. With that, I want to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Charles Dvorak.
Oh, well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. Also in the morning, the all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. All the dames and nights out there.
And in the morning,
subs in the water left.
Yeah, we do, somewhere. I think we have one or two. In the morning, everyone in the chat room, glitch. NoAgendaStream.com. Thank you very much thank you for your courage. And thank you to PewDiePie, who brought us the artwork for episode 757, Dairy Air. And that was, let's see, the artwork for that. No Agenda Miss America pageant special. Yes, exactly. I received confirmation on your analysis of the ladies that they were, kind of stocky women.
Confirmation from who?
Well, from women. Who said, yeah, because I hadn't seen it, and I found it hard to believe. He said, yeah.
But just looking at the list here of people, and I sent out this mailing to 14,500 people, and the above $50 donors, exactly 30 people. Which seems low to me.
Yeah, people to support the show. I mean, we have a show.
Yes. Well, let me thank these folks. Beginning with David Young, the executive producer for show 758. He came in with $466.39. He's over here in Mill Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's the ice cream guy, I believe.
Oh, nice.
This donation brings me above the level of native, so I'd like to be given the title Sir David of Ross.
Okay, we'll do it.
Please give me best wishes to my wife, Lilius. What do you think that is? Lilius? 112-mile bike ride. Finish with a marathon. Listen to the best podcast in the universe on the drive back from Tahoe Monday morning.
What? We don't have sports jingles. I don't know.
I don't know that we have a sports jingle.
No. I'll just.
How about Shut Up Slave? That's a sports jingle.
Shut up, slave.
That?
And finally, James Carlson, $200 from Denver, Colorado. And he sends in a note, which he sent in a check. And all the note says is sending you $200. It's enclosed. A great information show. There you go.
All right.
That's it. That's our three. Our associate, two associate executive producers, one executive producer.
I drove 700 miles for that.
Yes.
I ran out of gas in the middle of West Texas.
We want you to get used to living in a trailer.
Well, at this rate, that's all I'm going to be able to afford. So
yes, well, that and your bandwidth.
Hey, did you hear that our beer, the No Agenda Epic Beer, won some award?
Oh, did it now?
Yeah, it's like the silver medal and something. It was on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, I missed it because I've been retweeting most of his posts. Yes, even my son, who's tasted the beer, says it's an outstanding brown ale IPA.
Wait a minute. Is that one of my bottles he tasted?
Unfortunately.
Oh, come on, John. Really?
Well, how am I going to get you this beer? I mean, you'll get the beer.
Along with the jetpack that was sent to you? Did you get that?
I never got a jetpack.
People, it's the MiFi thing. It's not an actual jetpack.
No, I got that, but you got one.
Yeah, but he sent 2 to you.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, something else is going on then.
I got 1.
Okay.
I did get 2 of something, though. I can't remember.
jetpack.
Okay. You'll be getting these 2. I got a box ready.
Here's how it works. Never, ever, ever, ever send anything to me through John. It just doesn't happen.
It gets there eventually.
And the kid drank my beer. Thanks, John.
Well, I'll give him my beer.
Okay. Well, I'm planning on a trip out west.
He drank it and said and he's a beer expert. He's a millennial. He has to be. And he says it's one of the best brown ales he ever had. And I says it is as good as Newcastle. He laughed. He says this is 10 times better than Newcastle.
Well, I don't know. I wish I could participate in the conversation, but unfortunately, you gave my beer to your kid. Thanks a lot.
Well, at least we get to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
I don't want you driving around drunk.
/NA. We need help, please. And do not send anything to John. It never makes it. And you could always be out there drinking my beer and propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave. I did a little more research on the European Parliament directive about the migrants and about refugees. And I figured out what the problem is. As per the Geneva Convention, as we've discussed, every country who is a signatory must allow people to seek asylum in their sovereign nations. And what the European directive has done has not allowed these people who clearly have the money, because they're paying €1,000 per person to get on a rickety-ass boat, where it's only about €400 to take a flight. The reason why, it's much simpler than you think, surprisingly simple. The reason why is the European directive states that if the airline allows someone to get on one of their vessels and land in the EU, the airline has to return them at their own cost. This is why they're not doing it. And and we're seeing a lot of things. Here I have this is what is this guy's name? It's like some Stefridis. He's in charge of migration at the Starfleet Command European Union. Just listen to the words he's using about this issue.
Passing now on the refugees problem from one country to another is not a solution. The times are testing the union, are testing our union, and it is up to us in a collective way to show our resilience. The majority of people arriving in Europe are Syrians. They are people in genuine need of our protection. We have a moral duty to offer them protection. It is a duty inscribed in international and European laws.
I like that he said these times are testing the union, which is, the more I look at this and the more I hear what Turkey did to pretty much let the migrants go and shove them away towards the border, the more it seems like this has really been a setup.
Well, I think we've concluded that already.
Yeah, but the evidence is now. But now you have the guy on the inside saying these are testing times. I mean, he seems to be on board with the program. Oh, yeah, testing times. Maybe the union will break up. And now Now they're being stopped. Now that the refugees from Turkey are not getting across the border.
Thousands of migrants make yet another bid to march across the border from Turkey into Greece. It's a stalemate that's been going on for most of the past week. Scuffles broke out as Turkish police blocked their way. The local governor says they won't be allowed to pass unless they're invited by another country. Later, the migrants were taken to an open-air sports arena to spend the night. Some spoke of their dreams of a better life in Europe.
Decision to make war and war and war in the country. No one wants to solve this problem. We, with my friend, come looking for hope, for future. My country is there is terrorist, and we are simple people in Hasaka, and there is very problem.
The European Union's due to hold an emergency summit next week to push for a united response. In the meantime, the United Nations is warning migrant numbers will grow in the coming days, and their flow may fragment further into more new routes.
So this almost seems like there's some kind of almost like a blackmail operation going on. Like, here we got all these people, we're going to let them go, but we'll hold on to them.
It's getting, yes, that's a possibility. Well, what do you think our involvement is? We're not standing idly by.
No, our involvement is purely for Assad, although that now also seems to be a little bit on the fence, as now we hear that President Obama is going to meet with Vladimir Putin. I believe he's speaking in front of the UN General Assembly, and Kerry, and although I'm going against my rule, it's a short one, Kerry makes very clear that we need to get rid of Assad. However,
the last year and a half, we have said that Assad has to go, but how long, what the modality is, that's a decision that has to.
What do you think that means? The modality means the global situation, or the overall? What do you think he means by modality?
I think it means what it kind of sounds like. It's what is the model for him going?
Be made in the context of the Geneva process and negotiations. We need to get to the negotiation. That's what we're looking for. And we hope Russia and any Iran, other countries with influence will help to bring about that, because that's what's preventing this crisis from ending. We're prepared to negotiate. Is Assad prepared to negotiate, really negotiate? Is Russia prepared to bring him to the table and actually find the solution to this violence? Those are the pregnant questions.
Okay. So it seems the timeline is now, well, we got to negotiate, but it'll take some time. And
well, one report has that the Russians have not only loaded them up with armaments, but now they're going to drop Russian soldiers into the fight.
Those are the reports, sure.
But I think why would they? They're allies. We do stuff like that.
Sure. Well, it's just a repeat of Ukraine, and it's a repeat of the Red Line, where Putin came in, and actually I found remember Kerchik, that the douchebag who set up the girl who left RT.
Oh, the one who I think was that dummy.
Yeah. Well, that was the girl was the dummy, but this is
that's what I mean.
Yeah, he's from the Foreign Policy Institute. Yeah, James Kerchik. So this is how the think tanks, the crazy neocon douchebag think tanks, are working. And this guy, he's adamant. He has like a grimace, and was on Fox News, who are also all in on this.
What I think you're going to see is perhaps a bolstering of attacks, unfortunately, on the moderate Syrian rebels. Vladimir Putin is going to present himself next week. He's going to be speaking at the UN General Assembly, and he'll be presenting himself as the leader of an anti-ISIS coalition, along with the Iranians and the Syrians, and he's going to try to get the Europeans and us as well to join him. But if you actually look at most of the attacks that the Syrian regime has been launching, they're not against ISIS, they're against the moderate Syrian rebels, who we claim, again, in theory, to be supporting. Well, I think it's very important. I just want to say it's very important that we not fall for this.
Well, and to your point, we've seen the photos. We know that President Assad has used barrel bombs and chemical weapons not only against moderates, but also against children in Syria. Yeah. So if we're working with the Russians and the Russians are working with Assad, then are we supporting a man who kills children in his own country?
Children!
I think, unfortunately, that's the outcome of this policy. And most of these migrants from Syria are fleeing Assad. They're telling journalists and they're telling asylum officials in these countries that it's the Assad regime that they're fleeing. And this is all very reminiscent to me of back in 2012, you'll remember, when President Obama announced that his red line, the red line had been violated. And there was talk about perhaps intervening in Syria. And then who came to save the day? President Vladimir Putin with a plan to remove Syrian chemical weapons. And we fell for that, and we went along with that. And we know because there have been the use of chemical weapons since then.
What's that?
I thought we didn't want chemical weapons there. What are we falling for?
Because what this guy is saying, I'll roll it back a second, is that there's clearly weapons still left.
As we know, because there have been the use of chemical weapons since then, the chemical weapons were not fully removed.
By the other side.
I think this is a part of a broader problem, a broader strategic concept on the part of this administration, which seeks a rapprochement with Iran. And we don't want to do anything that will anger the Iranians. That's why we have this deal, this nuclear deal.
Yeah.
And we don't want to take on Assad because Assad is allied with Iran.
Kirchhoff, why don't you just run for president or something? You seem to have all the answers.
What a douchebag this guy is.
Yeah.
The continued lie about the chemical weapons, which we've debunked, we and everybody else who's looked at it, they couldn't get there where they landed. They weren't the right missiles. They were done by the ISIS or whoever, whatever. But
it doesn't.
How do we know the moderates? We can't find them. The whole thing is a joke.
What does a moderate mean anyway? Like he shoots you, but only in the arm? What is a moderate? What is a moderate?
How do you identify the moderates?
By their armband.
He's not bombing ISIS. He's bombing the moderates.
I don't know what they are.
Really? How do you make that determination? We can't even use our drones. We can't determine who we're killing.
They have the older Toyotas, the moderates. I don't know. People just accept this language like, oh, it's moderates. We're arming the moderates. What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. This is all bogus. We've screwed up. It just obviously, I think that your original early on 100 shows ago analysis, which discussed the pipelines running around there, and Russia trying to get in their crap. That's what the negotiation is about.
I think that is what's going on. And we already heard that Assad had said, Gazprom said, well, we're willing to entertain the pipeline, from Qatar up through Aleppo and Homs up into Turkey. We're willing to entertain that now, which means Assad will entertain. And that's what it's been from the get-go. So I think that's maybe why they have to have some prolonged negotiation.
You can't keep this in a war zone forever because you can't run pipelines through a war zone.
We do it all the time.
I know, but you'd rather not.
No. It's hard to build when you're being shot at. Anyway, the UK is gladly using this and the migrant crisis, and they still refuse to call them refugees. Daily Mail had
By the way, because of your earlier report, I realized that you want to use the word migrant because if you call them refugees, then you do have this EU responsibility.
The responsibility. Exactly. It's a legal classification. Good point.
Yeah, you're a migrant. Get out of here, migrant.
You have to say, I'm an asylum seeker. And I have to tell you, I'm seeing most of these migrants have tents, nice little pup tents. They all seem to be the same tent. They all seem to be same brand, and now they have banners with a dead kid on it. The dead kid face down in the ocean. Who printed up the banners? Did they bring along laser printers or silk screening systems? Who's making the banners? It's in the show notes. You look at them. There's all these banners.
One. I don't know who is making the banners. It's obviously not the migrants. And by the way, nobody has reported on this. And I started thinking about it some time ago, but it's like, where are all these? There's like 800 million people. Where are they crapping?
Well, I have another video which is useless for an audio show, but there's a lot that the media is not reporting on of what these migrants are doing. They're throwing rocks at trains in Hungary. There's people come into these train stations and try to hand them food, and they're accosted, and the food is ripped from their hands and they're thrown to the ground. The cops are handing out water, and then the migrants at the train station are just throwing the water onto the tracks. they're running around screaming like crazy. You never see any of that. Certainly not in a nice packaged report. So, and so here's the Daily Mail, which of course they do video like any fine print publication that doesn't know how to monetize. And, we figured out how to get a fake passport that says I'm from Syria.
I travelled to southern Turkey myself. I spoke with a number of contacts who told me that the trade was rife, both for Syrians who'd lost their documents, but also other people seeking a new identity or pretending to be Syrian. Members of ISIS are buying these passports. They're buying them to create new identities for themselves and their families so they can travel to Europe under cover of the millions of genuine refugees who are seeking sanctuary from the terrible war in Syria. I know for a fact that they're for sale in the border towns of Turkey. They may be for sale elsewhere, but certainly in the towns on the Turkish border in the south where a lot of Syrian people now live.
So this is how I would do it if I was going to create this crisis. I set up a whole bunch of little outfits who get you a passport. Looks like you're from Syria. Here you go. Here's your tent. Here's your passport. Oh, we got something new in the packet now. We have a banner of the dead kid. Off you go.
I can't go into too many details because to do so would put in danger people who've given me their trust. All I can say is the passport was created in Syria by a Syrian forger and it was smuggled across the border to Turkey where I took hold of it. I've spoken to a passport and identity fraud expert, a former Scotland Yard detective, who has suggested that while there are a couple of flaws in the passport, it is good enough for somebody to be admitted into southern Europe, Italy or Greece.
Because they don't know how to detect a fake passport?
Because they're idiots.
Yeah.
That was just a racist comment.
What?
It works in Italy where they're too stupid to know.
Yeah, that's true.
He said.
Croatia has now said, screw y'all, don't come here.
In the Croatian border town of Beli Manastir, a scramble to board buses and trains taking migrants to the Hungarian border. Even though Hungary doesn't want them. Croatia says it doesn't want them either. Faced with an influx of 13,000 migrants in just over 2 days, Croatian Prime Minister Zoran Milanovic says his country won't register the migrants, won't accommodate them, and won't be turned into what he calls a migrant hotspot.
People will obviously no longer be able to stay in Croatia except for us giving them water, food and medical care if they need it. Then they'll move on.
Overnight, Hungary began building a fence to seal its border with Croatia, having already blocked access from neighboring Serbia. Hundreds of Hungarian police and soldiers have been deployed to the area. Many hundreds more, the government says, will arrive over the weekend. In Beli Manastir, a local Croat says, this is terrible. We used to be refugees as well. For those fleeing desperate conditions in their own countries, it's become an ever more complicated struggle to reach Western Europe. As one barrier falls, it seems another bars the way. But the migrants say they've come too far to give up now.
So they're closing.
Well, this is definite. I mean, I don't know what our involvement is, but this is big, and I don't want to be callous. But this has gotten to the point of hilarity.
Yes, she said it. We're doing it. Fuck the EU. Screw those guys.
Well,
I find it interesting.
I
find it interesting that people will say, Adam, stop sounding like Hitler. These families have babies. Yeah, I know. It's all about the babies. That's all we hear about, the children. Oh, the children this, the children that.
They always should. They got great B-roll, and they got these, and some of the cutest little girl. Yeah. She seems so sad, and she wants a doggy.
Yeah, you're being duped. You're being duped.
I'm asking again. Where are they crapping? It's got to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in one of those.
Do they get toilet paper? Because
no.
We're talking about 100,000 people with no toilet facilities.
Yeah.
They have to crap every day.
These packages, so to speak, are not being created, not being put together, but there are migrant camps now in Greece in particular, and the smell is horrendous. That's all in the B-roll video that I have of stuff that is not being shown by the mainstream in general, as far as I know. Yeah, this is a, and of course we're going to have disease next. Yeah, it's a humanitarian crisis, and it's being viewed as migrants. I mean, it's you know what? No lives matter. Here's your proof. Nobody cares, and all the national, all the citizens of all these diverse EU countries, it's so sad. Oh, dying kids, but we don't really want them here. We have no room. We're full.
Closed.
Yeah, closed for business. Go crap on the border. Yeah. So I'm not sounding like Hitler. We're just giving it to you straight instead of the typical media reports was like, oh, look at this. Oh, and by the way, remember the refugee was tripped by the camera woman. While they were running.
Right. The camera woman who was kicking the little girl.
Well, no, he tripped the father who was holding on to the girl.
Yeah, but there was also
son apparently. Yeah.
Also kicked the little girl.
In the crotch. Right. You're right. So that guy, that father,
it's a woman. It was a woman.
But you're
talking about the guy who got tripped?
Yeah. He is now he is now a local soccer coach, coaching at an academy.
What?
Dream come true, he says. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't even avoid it being tripped. How can he be a soccer coach? Red card him.
Good point. Man.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Okay, I will play along, but I require one thing.
Yeah.
Sure, we need more soccer coaches here.
So we still have not seen the full text of the counter-extremism bill from Gitmo Nation East in the UK, which, of course, goes hand in hand with this because it is intended to ban extremists, but in this case, non-violent extremists. So we still haven't seen the text. However, we do have a definition now of what a non-violent extremist is, actually, let me see if it actually says extremists. Hold on. Yes, extremism. Here we go. Cameron and Home Secretary Theresa May have defined extremism. Are you ready for it? You want to write this down? Quote.
Got the pen at the ready.
You need to write this down. Quote. Vocal or active opposition to fundamental British values.
Okay.
That is pretty much the abolishment of free speech. That's crazy.
But is it illegal to be a nonviolent activist?
Yes, that's what the bill is going. When we see the full text, was sometime later this year. But you recall,
so you can't be opposed to British values and vocally?
No,
you can't say
no.
I think
fish and chips suck.
I don't like fish and chips.
Father Christmas is a homo. Yeah, see, you can't say that.
You're a racist for wearing blackface.
Yeah. Vocal or active opposition to fundamental British values.
I don't like crumpets.
Exactly. Off to jail with you. Crumpets. Scones are not nice. Yeah, vocal or active opposition to fundamental British values.
The British are crazy. They don't even know what they're in for.
No.
They can't say anything. They can't do anything. All they can do is go to the pub and grouse to each other, and they may be grousing to a government agent in the future.
Here is, who was this? Anderson, who is this guy? These issues matter because they concern the scope of UK discrimination, hate speech, and public order laws, the limit that the state may place on some of our most basic freedoms, the proper limits of surveillance, and the acceptability of imposing suppressive measures without the protections of criminal law. Yeah, exactly. That's some guy who's opposed to it. Who will be the first to go? You can't be opposed to the law. You can't have. Wouldn't that be the same if you said, "I don't like this law"? Is that not a vocal opposition to a fundamental British value as
and
codified?
It's also hate speech because you hate the law.
Jeez,
is hate speech going to apply to anything other than people, like this, like the crumpet?
If it's
I don't like crumpets. I think they suck.
If it's
that hate speech?
If it's a fundamental British value, yes. Now
it is.
Now here in the United States, here in the United States of Gitmo Nation, we have another issue where the FBI, 22-year-old Queens resident Ali Saleh was arrested following an FBI investigation into his attempts to join ISIS. But what was his real crime is he began retweeting ISIS or ISIL tweets.
Retweeting is now a crime?
It is considered an endorsement, according to the FBI.
No, if you put it, what if you have, okay, here's the hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
You, and I've seen this, people have their little...
RT not equal endorsement.
Right. Yeah. A retweet does not equal endorsement. They put that on there. You've seen it. I've seen it.
Yep.
Does that count?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
It's a disclaimer by the license agreement.
No.
The EULA.
No. FBI has been using retweets as evidence against Twitter-happy ISIS wannabes. The summer 17-year-old Virginia resident was arrested after regularly retweeting fawning statements about ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. So there you go. If you retweet something that is pro-ISIS, you get arrested and taken downtown for questioning.
Well, here's another hypothetical for you.
Okay.
What if you okay, here would be the retweet. You got some al-Baghdadi bull crap, and so you decide to retweet it. But in the new Twitter, they've changed things a little bit. If you retweet, you're given the opportunity to add your 2 cents. They decided to put this feature in there so people didn't do the RT. They want you to retweet the official way by hitting the retweet button.
Right.
So you hit retweet, and then you have a little box that comes up where you can say something. So you say, "This guy's an idiot."
Right.
And then a wink face, a little
a smiley face. No. Retweeting is endorsement. That's what it is.
What if I say this? I'm not endorsing this.
Yeah, well.
In the little box.
Book. Try it. I said, why don't you give it a shot?
I'm not trying it now. You're going to get me arrested. This will be a one-man show. Now, I know what you're up to.
Did you follow this from your alma mater about UC Berkeley?
No, what?
Oh, come on.
Now?
You must have been following this. They had they had a new doctrine, and you have the right to not be harassed by intolerance. You didn't follow this story?
No.
Oh my God!
I'm right here, I can see the campus from here. Actually,
oh my God! Oh no! A proposed new policy against intolerance was criticized by regents, of course, and they're trying to go back to the.
Well, you know who runs the place?
Yeah, the DHS Janet. What's her name?
Lucy.
Janet, Lucy Napolitano. Exactly. How can you say that? Well, this is part of the overall New World Order. The EU has all kinds of intolerance laws, which is it is speech. It is speech, but we're so fucked. Here, there you go. That word alone. Yeah, arrest him.
Arrest him. Arrest him and confiscate the trailer and put it on the auction block. I'll buy it.
Regent Richard Bloom said he and his wife, Senator Dianne Feinstein, believe that students who behave in racist, anti-Semitic, or other biased ways should face penalties, such as suspension or expulsion. It's an ongoing theme. It's an ongoing theme.
Well, it all started with the free speech movement, 1967, 67.
I mean, it started. Wasn't that supposed to give us free speech?
Yeah, that was called the FSM, the Free Speech Movement.
Right.
It was followed up, by the way, by the Filthy Speech Movement, which was kind of funny, and which gave us the right to cuss in public.
Right.
And now it's come to this. What are you going to do?
Well, ultimately, it will boil down to intolerance and hate speech which will be deemed as illegal content or illegal network traffic as a part of the net neutrality laws. It's a perfect storm. The circle is rounding out nicely.
Yeah, everything we've said.
I think you're right. I'm just going to have to
doom our show, by the way, and people should pony up at least while we're still in business.
Yeah, that's why I need to stay in the trailer, because I'm going to be on the run. On the lam.
We'll be on the run.
I'll be on the run from the law. This is bad, man. This is bad.
All right. This is all bad news.
All right, but let's talk about this kid, this clockmaker kid, because something happened that I know if I hadn't been getting on the tour, I probably would have done this work. But a number of people have now investigated this so-called clock that the kid made, Ahmed, the kid there in Irving, Texas. And what he did is he took either a countdown clock or a clock radio, just took it apart and then screwed it into this. Screwed it into a pencil case.
Now, can you back up and give some people a little background on this? Because I think it's not. I mean, I could be dead wrong on this, but I think there's probably a few people, especially our European and Australian listeners, that don't remember.
So what happened here is we have a kid named Ahmed who is Muslim. And this, of course, in Texas, Irving, Texas. Now, which is right near Garland, where we had an actual shootout when they had the cartoon contest. So people a little bit on edge there, understandably. This kid created he said he invented a clock, which he didn't. He just just took a casing off of an alarm clock and put it into a kind of a briefcase, like a pencil briefcase. It went off. It started beeping during English class. And he said, "Hey, look at my cool clock." And then the English teacher said, "No, that's not cool." Although, we don't really know the story because it was engineering teacher, whatever. We have no idea what's true there. But then he was taken downtown for questioning and he was put in handcuffs. And then his sister was able to take pictures of that, of him in handcuffs and tweeting. His dad has participated in a lot of vocal and very visible protests against Islamophobia. In particular, he participated in the mock trial with a preacher, you'll recall, I think it was in Florida, who wanted to burn the Quran. So it felt...
This guy's dad was involved in that? That's an old story.
Yeah. Yeah. And
this guy's dad was involved in that?
Yeah. He also ran for president of...
What
is it? Where did he run for president? I can't remember right now. Twice, including 2015. Damn, what country was it? That doesn't matter. So the things that I noticed right off the bat were, one, that CARE was in on it. That's the Council
on Islamic
relations,
or American Islamic relations.
Right.
That's it.
Which in the past,
it's a front organization for
Hamas.
Muslim,
yeah.
right?
Well, no, but in the past, it was implicated as a front organization for raising money for Hamas and other terror groups.
Yeah.
Although no one was ever convicted, but it's all right, fine. Now, and then immediately everyone was like, "Oh, this is racist, bigoted, Texans, rednecks, horrible people. This would not have happened if the kid's name was Terry." Although I'd like to point out that kid uses his hand as a gun and gets thrown out of school.
Yeah, white kid.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. This stuff, but he was put in handcuffs. He never would have been put. It's just nuts. So now it turns out this kid didn't invent anything. There's no cool clock. There's nothing. He just pulled something apart, put it into a suitcase, and then made it go off during the lesson. So that's very sketchy. But what I wanted to figure out is what was CARE's involvement. And I saw he had a little press gathering, and there's all these women standing around him, all with hijabs. Is it hijab? That's the scarf, right? Not the Habib?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's
You're the one that corrected me on that.
Yeah, I think it's the hijab. And so and they were prompting him, they're whispering off to him. So the kid is doing a press conference, and now he has off to the right, he has like lawyers and all these, I think, are PR women, which we'll find out in a moment is true. And just listen to a little bit of how this kid is talking about what happened. how it's being politicized and how this kid is being abused.
Do you have your clock?
And then go from there.
Wait till you invent something and then go.
Yes.
Yeah, you said you have your clock.
Do you have your clock?
No, the police still have my property.
What was the conversation between you and your teacher when this first happened?
No.
So I don't know if you can hear, but the question is, what was the conversation between you and your teacher? He answers no. He answers no. But like, why?
This first happened?
No.
The police
he
chief
can't
wants
comment
to meet
on
with
it
you.
right
Are you
now.
going to meet with the police chief?
Why?
He says he wants to meet with you, the police chief. Do you want to meet with him? Or?
Not without my lawyer, no.
Not without my lawyer, no. So now this kid who's 14 is like, I can't comment on anything, not without my lawyer. Okay.
Y'all mentioned that you're still suspended. Are you willing to meet with the school? The school said that they've wanted to meet with y'all this week, and they haven't been able to. So
no, I'm transferring school, so I don't see a point in that.
You don't want to go back to school?
What school are you trying to transfer to?
We don't have definites on that.
We don't have definites on that yet.
Do you hear the, I don't know if you can hear this, John. Do you hear the woman prompting him what to say? What school are you transferring to?
Mumbling. I hear mumbling.
Yeah, what school are you transferring to? She's like,
We don't have definites on that.
We don't have definites on that yet.
Is it a private school?
We don't have definites.
Yeah, but he's being prompted by this woman.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We don't
have a definite on it yet. He's still looking
Now she's just answering for him.
at options.
You seem like you're doing pretty well. Are you? How are you emotionally? How are you taking all this?
I felt pretty down that no one would know about this, but I guess since all the supporters online and social media, it brought me to the point where I could see people who don't care for me, but every other person. It made me really happy to see all these people support me and support others.
Are you going to go to the White House and accept the president's invitation?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate
President
it.
is a sucker.
Okay, now listen to this. So this is,
by the way, I want to stop for just a second. This president is a sucker.
He's in on it, John. Fuck it, he's in on it. He's in on it. So this kid, you know, we see tons of stories where something happens and the kid is with the parents, usually mom and dad, you know, they'll be sitting down or whatever. No, this kid is surrounded by suits and by, I think, you'll find out in a minute, by PR women. And now they're going to wrap up this conference. Just listen.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Let us know if you have any further follow-up questions. Ahmed's going to go inside, but we can talk to you on a different level. We're not going to answer any questions about the legal issues, but we can talk about some of the more social issues that are related to this story. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, the social issues. Exactly. He's got a whole PR team. Now, I go back and look, and sure as shooting, the day after this took place, the kid is on, I think it's on MSNBC, with the lesbian, Chris Hayes. And the same woman is there. Turns out she is a representative from CARE. It's the same woman. She's actually dressed exactly the same. I don't know, she has other scarves to put on, but it's exactly the same. And just listen to this.
Alia, when did the parents and you find out about what had happened to Ahmed?
So the parents found out when they finally did contact him, his parents, when they were in the jail, when they were at the police station there in Irving. So they finally contacted the parents, even though Ahmed had repeatedly asked for them to get his parents involved, and they repeatedly refused until once at the police station, his family, his mother and his father and his sister went up there. Some of the pictures that are circulating on social media are thanks to his sister's quick thinking. She took some pictures, she recorded some information, which was really helpful. After that, in the evening time, we were notified about the case situation and then met with the family the following morning to get the details of what had happened.
Okay. So she's a PR rep. And, we may have discrimination, we may have bigotry, we may have all kinds of things, but to take this kid and to abuse him is not in order. It's not in order. And she's not the only one. Oh, no. Watch MIT try to slip in a native ad.
Hey, listen,
overwhelming.
I want to bring in someone else who's voiced their support for Ahmed. Dr. Shonda Prescott-Weinstein, an astrophysicist at MIT, which Ahmed has called his dream school. Doctor, you're there. Anything you want to say to Ahmed about MIT and what kind of place it would be should he want to check you out there?
So, Ahmed, I'm so happy that you're coming out on top. And I just want to say, by the way, you are my ideal student, a creative, independent thinker like you.
What do you mean? He ripped apart an alarm clock and put it in a briefcase. Oh, woo! Yeah, this is the kind of student we want at MIT.
Is the kind of person who should be becoming a physicist. As a theoretical physicist, I would love it if you took an interest in the mathematical side, although you're clearly very adept with your hands and at building things. So I hope you'll think about theoretical physics. If there's any possibility that you can come visit us at MIT, I would love to give you a tour of the Center for Theoretical Physics and the Kavli Institute for Astrophysics. And I'm hearing from my former advisors at Harvard College that they would love for you to come to the Center for Astrophysics, the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. So I really hope that you'll come visit us in Cambridge.
Now, if that wasn't enough, let's say it one more time. Everybody, listen up.
It would be fantastic to have you. You are the kind of student that we want at places like MIT and Harvard.
It's just an ad.
Oh, God.
Come on, everybody. Come on. If you're building clocks in briefcases, come on, everybody. And there's a kicker at the end here. Listen to the PR woman, how she leaves the interview.
Ahmed, obviously it's a plane flight and such, but maybe you can go check it out. I know it's early for college. You're only 14, but you know, these things start early these days.
That's a fact right there.
All right. Ahmed Mohammed, Aliyah Salem, and Shonda Prescott Weinstein. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming on. And you're a remarkably poised young man.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, she says. Yeah, because it's all about her. Now, this is a scam of epic proportions, and they're abusing this kid. It's child abuse. Running him around everywhere. Child abuse, I tell you. Despicable. And this kid, he's programmed. He's like MK Ultra with his answers. No, I'm not without my lawyers.
Lawyers. Well, this brings us to Trump.
There you go.
Because Trump was set up.
Yeah.
And this was played by all the networks.
Yep.
So Trump, and I have the best, probably the most elaborate take was ABC, who's out to get Trump because they need to get Jeb Bush in.
Yep, for the Disney Florida connection.
But what was interesting to me is that there was a formula. And ABC and CBS, because I'm doing my 3x3, I'm looking at all the networks. We have, Mimi's here, and
oh, you're finally getting laid.
And so Mimi, she's out actually serving beer as we speak.
No, wait, no agenda beer. She's drinking my beer too.
No, she's serving beer at the Comedy Day, which is happening in San Francisco. It's very underpublicized. With Jay's serving beer. They're part of the beer serving operation. And I'm telling her about the 3x3 thing since she doesn't listen to the show. And she's and I said, I'm learning quite a bit. She said, well, all the networks, they all say the exact same news, right? And I say, no, that's the surprising thing. They don't, except for a couple of stories. The rest of it is pretty wide open. It's kind of interesting how different they are. It's one of the most interesting things about it. And but in this case, with the Trump story, the CBS, NBC had close to this, but CBS and ABC had the exact same packages, which includes John McCain telling somebody once that Obama wasn't an Arab. Then that's followed by Chris Christie saying, "Oh, it's terrible that he didn't defend the president."
Oh, so they pile jumped on him.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
and then
realize
Hillary comes on with a clip of her. And Ben, here's the ABC. This is the Trump ER, which is ER stands for eye roller. The Trump ER ABC, which is a long package, but they're all with this. They were all long packages. They were all exactly the same with the same one thing after the other.
Before we play it, I have a question. Did they have any shots of him making crazy faces in the package?
Yes, of course. And that, by the way, we'll talk about. Because the crazy face thing, I think, is going to be his Achilles heel.
Friday night, and we begin with the controversy over that moment at a Donald Trump event. What was said about Muslims and about President Obama? The Republican frontrunner listening to a supporter who made the comments, some seizing on what Trump did and did not say afterward. Tonight, you'll hear it all for yourself. You decide as Trump cancels.
Oh, I love it. You decide. Ooh, good.
Cancels an appearance in South Carolina this evening, saying he has to close a deal. ABC's David Wright is in South Carolina tonight.
Tonight, Donald Trump is under fire for the way he handled this question.
We have a problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate, man. But anyway, we have training camps growing where they want to kill us. Mm-hmm. That's my question. When can we get rid of it?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things. Trump did not challenge the man's false claim President Obama is Muslim. Today, his campaign tells ABC News he had trouble hearing the question, adding, the bigger issue is that Obama is waging war against Christians in this country. Their religious liberty is at stake. Trump's opponents say he should not have let the question slide.
If someone brought that up at a town hall meeting of mine, I would have said, no, listen, before we answer, let's clear some things up for the rest of the audience. And I think you have an obligation as a leader to do that. That's
what John McCain did at a town hall in 2008 when one of his supporters called Obama an Arab.
He's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with.
Oh, I like that. The opposite of Arab is decent family man. That's more egregious than anything.
But yes, nobody points that out, by the way.
It's so obvious. No, ma'am. He's not an Arab. No. He's a decent family man. Because, you know, Arabs are crazy.
Decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with.
But for years, Trump has fanned conspiracy theories that Obama was not born in America, as recently as a few months ago.
Do you accept that President Obama was born in the United States, is not Muslim?
I really don't know. More than half the people who support Trump believe Obama is Muslim. Today, the Trump campaign said the questioner was right to...
Hold on a second, but where did they get that statistic from?
I don't know, but it may or may not be true, but I can tell you this. I would like people out there, if you want to do something, one of the experts on extremism, who's at the Hoover Institution, I believe right now, is a guy named Daniel Pipes, who during the 9/11 era had to be guarded by the government because they were trying to kill him, or at least he thinks so. Mm-hmm. But do Google Is Obama a Muslim? Daniel Pipes, and read his essay. It's very entertaining.
Oh, we'll put it in the show notes.
But the way they pieced this together they threw the thing about the birth control certificate,
the birth control certificate.
But what's that got to do with this?
Yeah, but it's not
It's not discrepancy.
It's not a birth control. It's not a birth control certificate.
I mean a birth control certificate.
No,
birth certificate. His birth certificate. Sorry.
I want a birth.
Well, you get mixed up.
As a title.
The way that I got a better title.
Birth control certificate.
It's actually pretty funny.
I like that. It's a new Planned Parenthood thing. Birth control certificate.
Anyway, the point is that they're mixing and matching. Oh, yeah. They're bringing the air thing in. They're bringing the birth certificate in.
Let's finish the package.
This is a hit piece,
people.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the rest of the package.
Believe Obama is Muslim. Today, the Trump campaign said the questioner was right to worry about terrorist training camps in the United States. Trump insists they exist. The White House says that's absurd.
I haven't seen anybody produce any evidence to substantiate the claim that there are. I think the vast majority of Americans would take a rather dim view of those views.
Tonight, Trump was due to appear at this candidates forum here in South Carolina, but he canceled last minute. His campaign insists it had nothing to do with this controversy, but because Trump was closing a significant deal.
David Wright with us tonight. David, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, fabulous work. Excellent package.
Now, he never said anything about the camps, but they implied it and this guy was obviously a stooge was sent in. So now NBC takes the same story and they don't keep the package intact. They decide to add a little of their own kind of analysis.
On the trail in Iowa.
All right, Hallie, thank you. And we all know that the facts are a frequent casualty of political campaigns, but Donald Trump's unequivocal and rapid-fire style has left a number of his provocative statements open to challenge. Our Katie Tur has been doing some fact-checking and tells us what she's found.
As Donald
Trump takes fire for what he didn't say last night, more scrutiny is being paid to what he does say. NBC did a check to see how Donald Trump's campaign statements matched up to the facts on funding his own campaign.
I am not accepting any money from anybody.
Telling the New York Times today he's willing to spend $100 million. Fact, it may be most of his money, but he is still taking money directly from a donation button on his website, asking for $1,000 to $2,700 and benefiting from the super PAC to make America great again. On wasteful spending, telling supporters construction delays in the Capitol Dome mean the scaffolding would come down for the inauguration, only to go back up again.
If I win, I will let the scaffolding stay up, okay? All right? I'll let it stay up.
Fact, the Office of the Architect of the Capitol tells NBC News this is false, and the project will be done before January 2017. And then there's vaccines and autism. Trump at the debate on Wednesday.
2.5 years old, a child, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back, and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
Fact, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics.
We know there's no link between autism and vaccines. The research has been done. The studies have concluded.
Fact is, exaggeration, according to Donald Trump, has always been part of his success. In The Art of the Deal, he calls it truthful hyperbole, writing, people want to believe that something is the biggest and the greatest and the most spectacular. It's an innocent form of exaggeration and a very effective form of promotion, one that so far appears to be working. As for the scaffolding, Trump says he got that information from a source. On vaccines, he stands by his position. And campaign finance, he says he is funding his whole campaign, but does appreciate smaller donations. Lester, as you know, the most that any one person can donate to a campaign is $2,700.
All right, Katie.
Now, before you go into your analysis, I have a clip, and I just caught something in the chat room. And I think, John, I'm pretty sure we have grown to a level where now agent provocateurs are in the chat room. I've been seeing it for the past 4 or 5 weeks. This is
that's great.
Something new. Yeah. And they're in there. They're yelling things. Like, oh, but you got arrested because of the Muslim boy. Not everything's a conspiracy theory. So And then I saw something in this report just popped up in the chat room. This is the new meme. Be on the lookout for this. It comes from Clinton.
Don't be distracted by their flamboyant frontrunner trying to bully and buy his way into the presidency.
That's the meme. He's trying to buy his way into the presidency. And I just saw it in the chat room. This is the new meme. Guy spending his own money, trying to buy himself. No, people who are taking money from lobbyists are being bought for the lobbyists to buy the presidency. That's the truth.
Yes. Anyway, this report on NBC, and I think you're right about the agent provocateur. Why not? There's going to be Clinton people in there.
Oh, there's all kinds.
She is the one. In fact, I got a couple Clinton.
Which means we're no longer under the radar, John. That little podcast we're doing. Geez. All right.
Well, you don't know.
Sure, I don't know.
This report from NBC has nothing. There was nothing.
No.
There was
nothing
horrible discovery that he's a big liar or anything else. There's nothing. They had nothing. What was in that report that was so revealing?
Nothing.
There's nothing.
And they tried
He says he's and he's going to be, my favorite quote is, going to benefit from the super PAC. You don't benefit from, but they buy some ads. They can't give you the money and you can't even meet with them.
No.
The whole report was just totally bogus.
Yeah, he's got to be a strong man because the attacks. So now it's going to be he's trying to buy his way in. You know what's coming next? It's going to be attacking his family. That's the obvious. Ivanka, I'm sure Ivanka has something to hide.
No, I'm sure she does. She must have. Well, everybody does.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's listen to now Hillary. That what you just said about the
trying to buy his way in.
About the guy that's using social media. So Hillary shows up on the Fallon show.
Yeah, was that the same day of the debate?
Yeah, it was. It was at the same night, and they didn't analyze the debate too much because I don't think they saw it because the show taped so early.
Right,
but they pretended they did.
What a dumb day to go on a big show.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb, not to mention. I think they didn't expect that somebody did the wrong book, and I'm sure she was irked about it.
Yeah.
But let's listen to her. This is Fallon and Hillary on social media, so we can get a clue here that she's really into this. This is what she was about in the Middle East.
And my mom has no clue what's going on. Text would like blow her mind. But here you are. You're very good with social media, and I want to ask you, like, you're using Vine, you're doing Vines, you're doing selfies, you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do all these things? Do you know what these things are?
Yeah, I do know what they are.
Yeah.
Now, I don't do them all myself.
No, okay.
No, obviously, I work with a lot of people because I'm on the road all the time, and things pop up, and I say, hey, what about this? Or somebody says the same to me. But it is the way to communicate, and you have to be involved in hearing what's on people's minds and responding. I actually like it. I think it's a great way for people to feel like they're sharing ideas. They're part of a bigger community than you could ever be in reality. It's the online community.
I think we have. It's just a clip about the techno experts. Hold on.
I have this group of young, techno experts.
Yeah, we'll play that at the end of the show. That's when she was in the State Department. I have techno experts. She should have said it. She should have said it right now. It would have been great.
I think she had lived it at the time. I don't think it was part of the techno experts comment. I think it was just off the cuff, and she hasn't really incorporated it into her normal speech. There's 3 clips I have from this, and none of them are important. But they were all Fallon fawning all over the whole thing. And then they did a phony baloney kind of Fallon fawning all over her over the email thing, which was just, she passed off again. And, she's good. And then, this again is on NBC, which is out to get Trump. And they want her in. They don't want Jeb Bush. And because they want more of a warmonger. I don't think Bush is going to be up to par. One of the 2 women definitely want to, expand the military. Since our military is not big enough, even though it's so big that you can't audit it.
All right, email clip?
Yeah, if you want to play, so get a sense of how they soft pedal this to the public at large.
Where were we? Let's talk. Can I just talk about the email scandal?
Sure.
What is in the email?
Sure.
Can you just say what's in the emails? That's all we want to know. If you tell us what's in the email, I'll get over it.
Yeah.
What we're thinking is probably much worse. Are you just like typing in all caps? Is it embarrassing? I mean,
a lot of misspelling.
Is it like my mom where everything's in the subject line and like nothing's in the body?
Well, it's kind of a variation on that, and there are thousands of them that are already out there. Most people have gotten bored after reading, like 10 or 12 because they're boring. I mean, they're, kind of, what are we doing? How do we do it? When's the meeting? Now, the most significant one that has come to light because, this was a really important issue.
Yeah,
and I had to talk about it on the email, and that is, I was asked if I could get gefilte fish into Israel in order for it to be used in time for Passover. And so
that was the gefilte fish.
That was the gefilte fish email.
Here's the thing: everyone's saying, there's some of these are top secret emails, and they go top secret, and we got hacked into the thing, and they go, but we're going to release them, and we'll let everyone know what Hillary. And I go, wait, do we want everyone knowing what the top secret email is?
Well, but look, I've said I'm taking responsibility. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, but nothing that was sent at the time. Or
what does it even mean, transparent as possible? Like you're still hiding something? Is that what that means? Like I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, but obviously some things are just not for you, citizen. You're just not allowed to know that.
Taking responsibility. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, but nothing that was sent at the time or received was secret. This is all retroactive. It would be. It's a little hard to explain, but sometimes different government agencies argue about what should or shouldn't be what's called classified, and then they say, hey, it wasn't at the time, but maybe it should have been. Somebody else says, no, I disagree, and they say, well, to be safe, maybe we ought to cross out some of the words. It wasn't at the time. And the stuff that's in it, I think, is really boring people, which kind of hurts my feelings.
No, it's very exciting. Gefilte fish is unbelievable. We have very exciting emails. I think the headline, they missed the big headline. The headline should be Grandma knows how to use an email. I mean, because that's amazing.
Ah, jeez.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing, I tell you. Man.
Amazing.
You want to do more of these?
If you want, since you played it, you might as well play the last clip, which is I think is the one that's the most promotional. And I think this was unconscionable, this particular clip. This is Fallon doing his, playing the party line. He's obviously all in for her. And this clip was annoying.
It is. That's right.
I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I have a lot to get to here. Of course, tonight was the GOP debate.
Yes, that's true. Second one.
This is the second GOP debate.
Right.
Now, the two leaders over there on the Republican Party.
Right.
One is a real estate mogul.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The other guy is a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
He's in the lead, the other candidate.
Right.
You were senator. You were first lady, secretary of state.
Right.
Is this possible that you have too much experience to become the president of the United States? Is that possible? They have no experience.
It's really up to the voters to decide.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you can just sort of throw your head into the future, and you could have the White House renamed the Trump House.
Ugh, okay.
And you can see where that went.
Yeah, of course. A couple other things here. We have now big letters being written. Bernie, the burn, feel the burn.
Feel the burn.
Bernie got a big endorsement from some letter. Let me see. This is, was it 128 artists and cultural leaders have endorsed the burn?
How come that gets the credit when the 30,000 scientists wrote the anti-climate change letter? That gets no attention whatsoever.
Let's see. Will Ferrell, Jeremy Piven, John C. Reilly, and an ad just popped up. There we go. Danny DeVito, Sarah Silverman are among the 128 artists and cultural leaders who have put their names on an open letter calling for Sanders to be the Democrat presidential nominee. Which is nice, but that's not how the system works. Let me see who else is on this. Who else of interest? Elvin Bishop fooled around and fell in love. Really trying to be relevant there, Elvin. Very nice. Jackson Brown, Belinda Carlisle. Who else is here? Comedian Margaret Cho. That's quite a list. But I would have... Steve Earle. Oh, man. This is a nice list. We, the undersigned artists, musicians, and cultural leaders of America. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize Elvin Bishop was still one of the cultural leaders of America. I must have been through about 1 million girls. It's a vision that pushes for a progressive economic agenda. Yeah, spend it on war-making stuff. It's a vision that creates jobs, raises wages, protects the environment, and gets big money out of politics. Well, not true, because the big money is from the unions. Bernie Sanders has every single union known to man. He has it's all unions, and then like the Crystal Sugar Alliance or something. Somehow the sugar guys are supporting him. Yeah. We endorse Bernie Sanders to become the 2016 Democratic nominee for President of the United States. Sincerely, the artists and cultural leaders for Bernie Sanders. Is that an arrogant bunch of shit or what?
Hi. It's going to be on. It's going to be on. I almost said Hitler. It's going to be on Hillary's hit list. These people.
Oh yeah, cultural.
Because you
leaders.
can be a Republican and bitch and moan about Hillary all you want, or an independent and bitch and moan, or you can be us and bitch and moan. But if you're a Democrat, you're in the cult. You can't turn on Hillary. She's gonna screw.
I just want to recognize that Belinda Carlisle is indeed a cultural leader of the United States of America. Our lips are sealed. Now, Joe Biden got himself an endorsement of his own.
50 Democratic donors circulating a letter asking Vice President Joe Biden to get into the 2016 race and take on Hillary Clinton for the Democratic nomination, saying if he announces he's running, we're all in. Jim Oliphant is covering the story for Reuters.
The letter basically makes the argument that Joe Biden is the best person to continue the administration and the achievements of President Obama. What's significant about the letter is while there have been parties urging Biden to get into the race for a while, we're beginning to see a little bit of a groundswell of actual money behind that effort. This is the kind of thing that could encourage Biden and his people that he does have a real shot at building the kind of financial organization that could take Clinton on. They like Biden's authenticity. They like the fact that Biden has a connection to the Obama administration. They like his optimistic spirit. And, frankly, they like the fact that he's not burdened by the kind of baggage that Clinton is facing right now.
Biden has been weighing a run as he recovers from the death of his son, Beau, in May. And sources tell Reuters he's not going to be rushed. But some supporters are worried that if Biden waits too long, his 2016 window will close.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
That's right. This just in, 128 names added to the Clinton body count. I'd be careful if I were you people. On The View.
Well, let's stop for a second on this Biden thing. This may necessitate the plan, the Clinton Plan B standing for Bill, to earlier, because she's got to get the nomination before she could run for president.
Oh, and with Plan B, you mean Bill has to have some horrific medical event?
He has to have a heart attack or something has to happen.
Yeah.
That's what we're.
He's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, well, he may be hiding out. I'm not sure, although he could be endorsing the idea. This is going to be interesting to see how this works out. Biden's ego is going to be the final determinant. It's not going to be this money. It's just, the guy just runs for president.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think his ego says, I want them to beg me. I want them to beg me, damn it. Beg me.
Perfect. You're right. You got that. You nailed it. That's exactly right.
Beg me. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, I wouldn't have done it, but then again, my son told me, he's got, and he has the leverage of his deceased son.
Yeah.
It's
sad, but
he uses as part of his gimmick.
Yeah.
Beau wanted me to run. So I talked over with my wife, and she said, maybe it's an opportunity. He wants to be out there giving speeches, and he doesn't even care if he wins.
But I have a couple more things. After the debate, The View, Whoopi Goldberg, who can't even read, was trying to bash Reagan, which I think some of it's warranted, but her historical facts are sketchy at best, and I figured I'd play this clip and get some input from you, since you were of cognitive age when this all went down.
I like Ronald Reagan. He was a very nice man, but I just want to point out that, he did some things that were not particularly good for the country.
Yeah, there's a few movies I didn't like.
In 1967, he signed the Latimer-Petris Short Act, which sought to end the involuntary commitment of the mentally ill.
What the hell did she just say? Do you know about this?
All right, I got the whole history of this. I think we talked about this on the show before. He was governor of California. I think her date is wrong.
She said 1967.
Look at why I'm talking about this. Look up when he was governor. I think it was governor from 68 to something. I don't know if it was in 67. But look, it could have been 66. I could be wrong. But check it out. When he became governor, because I remember this whole period very succinctly, he did a lot of stuff, including signing this bill, which closed most of the mental institutions in California. Because the Democrats, for years, when I was in grammar school, when I was in high school, all I heard about was these horrible mental institutions. It was the Democrats who kept hounding. We can't be locking these people up. And one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yes, of course, it was part of that. Yes.
All part of this push. And Reagan didn't want to deal with it. So he just signed the bills that they wanted him to sign, which was open them up. Hell with it. We can just close it. It was not his idea. He didn't, but everyone blames him. But it was the Democrat. I'm telling you, it was the Democrats who were hounding. It was a major issue.
Thank you very much. I knew that you would have the right answer to this. He became governor in 1966, by the way.
Okay, so that's one of the first things he did.
So we just heard from you, and I of course immediately believe what you say, that the Democrats had all these bills. This is crazy. We had support from Hollywood with the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We got to close them down. And now Whoopi Goldberg comes out and says this.
Commitment of the mentally ill. So what they did was they closed all of these mental facilities and they dumped. They didn't bring them anywhere else. They dumped mentally ill people on the street. I remember. Okay,
so that's her takeaway, John. They dumped them on the street, which is what the Democrats wanted, correct?
Absolutely.
Now wait for the second example of something she doesn't like so much.
Dumped them. Yeah. Also, the air traffic controllers were on strike. Yeah. I feel like if the air traffic controllers are pissed, you want to hear what they have to say. Okay? You listen to them.
Okay.
You don't. Hold on. Wait. And so,
listen to air traffic controllers. Woo!
Instead of saying, hey, what's going on? He said, you have 2 days to come back to work or we're firing you. Yeah. This caused such an issue because they didn't have any backup. They didn't have any backup. So he wasn't all that for me. And the war on drugs, please.
All right. So they did have a backup because everyone came in and they took over.
They also, a lot of guys came back that were on strike. Because he gave them 2 days. Mm-hmm. It was against the law for the air traffic controllers to go on strike. Which
thank you.
Overlooked fact.
Yes, thank you.
And so he decides to get tough with these guys, and he makes this, tells them to get back to work or they're fired. And a lot of them came back to work, and then he also had a bunch of backups already there ready to go to work. There was never an incident because of this. There was no planes falling out of the sky. No.
So
it worked out fine.
Propaganda.
But, okay.
Lies, I tell you. The View lies. I'm shattered.
And is that the best two examples she can come up with?
Yeah, that's what she had right there.
There's better shit than that if you really want to go after Reagan.
Now, this was surprising. I liked it. And I have to say I had some similar sentiment in reflecting on the shit show, the 3-hour shit show known as the Republican debate. This is Mika Brzezinski. Daughter to Zbigniew. Of course, she's a huge. She's a member of the Illuminati. Everybody knows this. This is my facts are as good as Whoopi Goldberg's, and she has a girl crush on Carly Fiorina.
Compare Carly Fiorina's performance last night. No notes, no nothing. With Hillary Clinton stammering and stumbling through a basic attack on Donald Trump. There's no comparison.
That's exactly what I was talking about. She was disciplined. She had a measured tone. She always uses a vocal range that projects strength, warmth, and confidence. Without being to this or to that, she is pitch perfect. And on top of it, she knows her material. She has very strong opinions. She knows how to fight, but she never fights so hard that it can be criticized as whatever, what words people would use when it goes too shrill. She actually was, as you said, pitch perfect, a star. She's terrifying to the Democrat. I can tell you right now, it just, first of all, counts out the historic nature of a Hillary Clinton presidency. Right there. The one thing that people might be holding on to, it goes away. And on top of it, she's terrifying. She's really good. She's really good. I was talking about that measured tone and that discipline and that vocal range only because these are the things that women struggle with. And actually, they get counted out because of actually these physical presentation issues. My God, I have never seen anyone like her, ever. She's like the perfect know your value woman. She knows her value and she communicates it effectively. Respect first, and then all the friendship and fun stuff later. She's doing what she needs to do right now. I've never seen anything like it.
But I like the physical presentation issues. Yeah, it's the Botox. Because, and I saw a couple of clips of her talking about, I think it's her stepdaughter who died.
Watch your eyebrows. They're glued on.
No, the whole forehead. It's a box.
Yeah, can't move.
It's like a cardboard box that there was no. And when she was talking about, we buried a child because of drug overdose, it almost didn't come across as sincere because she's incapable of her voice cracked for a moment.
Yeah,
just a hair, but she does have real presentation issues. But and of course she's also a warmonger and not a little one. But I'll say I thought she did a good job. Now she's doing some interesting things with. This is her with George Stephanopoulos, who of course wants Jeb Bush, and we can't have. He's trying to slam her. Something which I personally, I know you've done a lot of it. I definitely have done all the work. Stephanopoulos, not so. And this is another. We're really deconstructing the media big time here, because the main meme from day one about the Planned Parenthood videos was deceptive editing. It's not there. It's not true. The scene doesn't exist. You don't really see it. And here's George and Carly.
Another powerful moment last night was when you talked about those Planned Parenthood tapes. But analysts who've watched all 12-plus hours say the scene you described, that harrowing...
Analysts, John. The analysts who've watched all 12-plus hours because, my God, what do you do as an analyst? I don't know. Yes.
Now that you mention it, I was going to bring this up, and it's one of these things I forgot. It was probably a few shows ago. A lot of the news media guys are now calling themselves analysts.
Yeah, senior analyst.
And they're reporters. They're not analysts.
Yes. Well,
analysts and reporting and analysis are two different things. You can't be a reporter and an analyst.
Right.
You're one or the other.
Oh, so I think he even calls a woman from Vox the analyst who did all this important work of, oh my God, I watched 12. Are you kidding me? People watch House of Cards in a weekend. It's not a big deal to watch 12 hours of video.
The scene you described, that harrowing scene you described, actually isn't in those tapes. Did you misspeak?
No, I didn't misspeak, and I don't know who you're speaking about in terms of watching the tapes, but I have seen those images. I don't know whether you've watched the tapes, George. Most people haven't. Certainly none of the Democrats who are still defending Planned Parenthood have watched those tapes. Planned Parenthood needs to be defended.
Ooh, I didn't hear that. That's a little Freudian slip. Did you hear that?
What she's trying to say is she's putting herself in the other side's and then talking for them.
Well, what she tried to say was Planned Parenthood needs to be defunded, but she said defended. Listen again.
Planned Parenthood have watched those tapes. Planned Parenthood needs to be defended.
Yeah, you're right.
Whoops. Needs to be defended. Did the truth try to get out there, Carly? I wonder.
This kind of butchery erodes the character of our nation.
Well, the Sarah Cliff, actually, in writing in Vox, watched all 12.
Here, Sarah Cliff in Vox, writing in Vox. So she's a reporter? She's not an analyst?
He's nervous. You notice a nervousness in his voice because she called him out?
Oh, yeah.
Vox watched all 12 hours, and she concluded either Fiorina hasn't watched the Planned Parenthood videos or she is knowingly misrepresenting the footage because what she says happens in the Planned Parenthood videos simply does not exist.
Well, you know, there's a lot of commentary about these tapes being doctored. In fact, that's what the mainstream media keeps talking about, is the tapes and their origin. Rest assured, I have seen the images that I talked about last night.
She's a douchebag, but I'll give her that. It's true. I've seen it. She didn't mischaracterize it. Now, here's the funny thing. This is some pastor, Reverend Mahoney. Who's Reverend Mahoney? Do we know who he is?
No idea.
And he drops a little bomb here on the defunding of Planned Parenthood, which I will say, so here's what's happening in the United States. The president is saying, well, the Republicans are trying to shut down the government. But I think it's really the opposite, because he's saying he won't sign a bill that has Planned Parenthood defunded in it. So who's shutting down? That's just a matter of how you look at it. But this reverend dropped a bomb that I haven't had an opportunity to look through the thousands of pages yet.
It's cynical politics at its worst to schedule some of these votes that are meaningless. The vote to defund Planned Parenthood is meaningless. The vote that they're having on a moratorium is meaningless. What matters is the continuing resolution. And think of the message that's being sent to America. The House Republican leadership has all these hearings and all these votes to defund Planned Parenthood, and then they give them $520 million. It's an outrage.
So the money is in the continuing resolution. So it's all just grandstanding. They're going to give them the money anyway. This is brilliant.
Grandstanding, you think?
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
We do have a few people to thank who are grandstanders, including and beginning with our top grandstander, Sir Thomas Nussbaum, who was called out by one of his buddies recently. I guess he has a neighbor, and the two of them are I don't know what it is.
Well, now he says this is to make Sir James Michael Cates a baron. So is he giving up his?
I assume that's what he's doing.
Wow, and they're neighbors because they have like the Carmichaels and what is the feud?
The McCoys and the Hatfields.
The McCoys and the Hatfields, yes.
Nussbaum. He gives you $175. He's made James Cates or James Michael Cates, who's trying to catch up with Nussbaum. Baron, and he says there's be a note to email some jingles. I didn't see. He made that probably come in the future.
But I haven't seen what he's mentioning.
Onward to Slovenia, where Leo Monik is came in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one of my favorites, and which is he our only Slovenian? No note, but. Great.
Well, thank you.
Fantastic. But by the way, if you want to, I think for people that would look for a tourist place that you've never been to that's very small and fun, Slovenia is fantastic. And especially if you go to the wine growing area, they make champagne. They don't allow. This is kind of interesting because I looked into this because you go to the Slovenians make better wine than they're not going to like hearing this, but they make the best wine on that side of the Adriatic. They just make great wine. It's a very small community. It's in the northern parts. It's across the Adriatic from the Piedmont, let's say Italy. So they make Italian-style wines, but with different grapes. But they also have a champagne growing region. It's not true champagne, of course. But it's sparkling wine that resembles champagne. And when I had some of the champagne, which is fabulous, and I don't like using that word. First thing I thought to myself was, where's Moet? The French always love to move into these places and buy a bunch of acreage and then produce a bunch of clone champagne wines like they do in California.
But Australia. They can't call it champagne, can they?
No, they don't. And but they like to be influential in the area to make sure nobody uses the word champagne.
Gotcha.
And so you can buy Moet in California, buy Moet in Brazil. Brazil has a good operation. And I was told that apparently the laws of Slovenia do not allow people to sell this property.
Oh.
The French can't come in and start making champagne.
Good.
I don't know about that.
Frogs.
I think when the French come in, they usually improve the area. Simon Hart in Roxel.
Yeah, just ask Libya.
Well, I didn't mean come in with the F-16s.
Mirages. They fly Mirages.
Mirages, rather, that's what they would use. Simon Hart in Roxel, Isle of Wight, $116.08. What does he say here?
Wow, Isle of Wight. He's either a banker?
He's a banker. Simon with the name Simon Hart.
Mm.
Come on, that's a banker name. Craig Deniston in Omaha, Nebraska, $100. Sir Rick, our buddy in Arlington, Washington, $69.33. Richard Altman in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, $63. Anonymous in Cloverdale, BC, $60 over by Spuzum. Gregory Rosati in Suffolk, Virginia, $57.57. John Horner in Water Valley, Mississippi, $55.10. Congratulations to the Ole Miss. Dean Rocker in Parts Unknown, double nickels on the dime. Simon Nebeznuik.
Nebeznuik. He has a douchebag call out.
And he has a douchebag call out. I love the show. It was, by the way, it's for $54.32. Love the show. It's a twice weekly dose of real world news. I've just donated this to the cause and wondered if I could get douchebag shout outs for Nick. Douchebag. Anthony. Douchebag. And Phil.
Douchebag. The douches are hanging. We got a hanging douchebag. Hanging douchebag.
I wants to know if we're going to look into Jeremy Corbyn, how he's rising.
I have been looking into him.
Okay, good. Well, we'll get to that when we get to
Thursday. Oh, no. Sorry, there'll be no show on Thursday.
Right, because it's the end of the world on Wednesday. Just after you get the newsletter, kiss your butt goodbye. Nathaniel Starlin in Attica, Ohio, 5280. Matthew Dupuis in Lufkin, Texas.
Also has a douchebag call out?
5280. Let's see.
Looking forward to the Santa Fe meetup, so I'll see him tonight. Douchebag call out for William Myers. Douchebag. Tony knows you're listening. Better pay up.
Who Tony is.
All right.
Ryan Zekaris.
I would say Zekaris.
It might be Zekaris, 5280. These are all the Mile High Club members for the 767 moment.
And it's
he's in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Armando Guerra in Bee Cave, Texas. That's your mailman. I thought he was already a mile high, but I guess he's not.
He's all the way up. He's 8 miles high. 1 mile high. Good to go.
Karen Van Heidsma. Not sure. And she's in Omaha, 5280. Rob Warren in Sunderland, parts of Sunderland somewhere, UK. Rick Foster in Trimble, Missouri. George Oberhofer in Jackson, New York. These are all 5280s. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
cool.
7, 8.
And we keep this going until when, John?
787.
787. Good.
That's the last jet that Boeing made. Samuel, and it would be whenever the next one comes out, it'll be 15 years from now. Samuel Lichtenstein in New York City, $50.05. And finally, down to the $50 donors, we start with Lawrence McLafferty in Green Lawn, New York. Steve Winslow in Bristol, Avon, UK. Diana Carruthers in Tumwater, Washington. Andrew Haverson in Gravenhurst, Ontario, Canada. Michael Gates in Colorado Springs, Colorado, probably be at one of the meetups.
I hope so.
Eric Mann in Spring Hill, Florida. And that concludes our whole thing there of the 30 people who contributed to this show.
Oh, and if you are planning on doing an on-the-spot donation at any of the meetups, please put it in an envelope. Write down everything on the envelope so we can keep track of donations.
Who you are. And yeah. Because going and giving some money or cash or check even, well, checks usually have your information on there, but generally speaking, people in these meetups are...
We want to keep track of it.
Yeah, we need to keep track of it.
Okay. I guess I'll do a general jobs karma. There were a couple other karma requests in there. And we certainly appreciate everybody who donated today, our executive producers, our associate executive producers, but also... everyone under $50 done for anonymity, but all of really the baseline for us is subscription. So if you can get a subscription in addition to anything that you're already donating, please, that helps us out a lot. Particularly like today was lower than usual for some reason.
I can't figure it out.
Well, 700 miles.
I have thoughts.
All right, here's your comment.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
First belated birthday, we somehow missed Craig Dennison, who turned 33 on the 7th of September. Happy birthday to you. And John Horner says happy birthday to his daughter, Martha Cozy, celebrating on the 23rd. The Doomsday, last birthday for you. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe. One knighting today is David Young, who completed his knighthood up at the top. So I did bring my blade in the Airstream of Consciousness.
I got it. Hold on. There it is. It needs oil.
David Young, come on, young man. Stand up here on the podium. We're very, very happy to bring you into the round table of the Knights and the Dames for your contribution to $1,000 or more to the best podcast in the universe. And I hereby proudly pronounceate the Sir David of Ross. For you we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Pork Ribs and Pale Ale, Bad Science and Perky Breast, Progressive Rock and Russian Imperial Stout, Malted Barley and Hops, Root Beer and Legos, Ass Cream with Bear Fillings, Cuban Cigars and Single Malt Scotch, and of course, as always, the Mutton and Mead, which will not be available at the Renaissance Fair. But we always have it here at the round table for you. Go to...
The mead might be.
No mutton. Go to noagendanation.com/rings and pick
Let
up.
me read a couple of notes that came in by hand. They're both donors and they were on the list. This one was Craig from Omaha, and he says, please read on the air. To all producers, no matter how small, all donations help and add up. With this donation, I am 1/5 of the way to knighthood. If I can do it, you can too. All right.
Very nice.
Just a little note, a little reminder for everybody. And this came in from, this is George Oberhofer in Jackson, New York, who came in with the Mile High Club. Thank you once again for all your hard work. You're forever overworked and underpaid, as the average slave tends to be. Please continue to help us save and help us, whatever. So help our sanity and be grounded, and help us be grounded in reality. My worldly knowledge and ability to discern information has increased tenfold thanks to your influences. Keep up the great work. You may be humanity's last hope at the truth.
Well, unfortunately, we're all dying on Wednesday.
Yeah.
In Paris, because they're also ramping up for the big IPCC climate. This is the one, the climate change conference.
Oh, that's when everyone's flying in on their private jets talking about.
Yeah. You know what else? But you know what else they got going on there that they're rolling in right now? They have Noah's Ark's animal sculptures, and these are not small. So they got 2 giraffes, 2 hippos. Yeah, they're bringing.
Isn't that a religious thing, the Noah's Ark thing? Isn't that religious? When they all of a sudden get to this religious inclination?
Excellent point, John. Excellent point. Yeah, that's as part of the setup. So, this is a scientific conference. This is very good. A scientific conference, and around the conference, I don't know if it's going to be outside or inside, they have all of Noah's Ark's animals, because I guess the implication is if we don't change something, then we will need to start over again with two of each.
That sounds indicates flooding. I mean, that's what it seems. Well, hold on a second. Since we're talking about flooding,
take a look at the mud flats here.
Now, I'm going to take a look out the window because there's a freeway down the hill that you can see it, and the freeway's at sea level, by the way, and it's still there, and there's cars on it, and there's mud flats.
And
yep, they're there. There's still mud flats.
The science is in.
Science. Yeah,
mud flats have not moved an inch.
Hey, I'm going to look into this. This Noah's Ark. No, Noah's Ark Animals IPCC meeting. What are they thinking? You're so right. You are so right. But why do they think they can do this? That's not science. Oh, wait. There's a scientific version, really? Oh, I got it. This is nuts.
There's a scientific version of Noah's Ark.
I got to look into this. Okay, while we're on the topic of global warming and climate change, etc., Robert Redford, in conversation with Larry King, who still thinks he's on some channel that people watch, which is pretty funny.
He gets paid.
Yeah, I don't care. But Robert Redford, who recently spoke at the United Nations and was so humbled by the experience. They let anybody speak there. Come on. Here we go.
You addressed the UN recently. Well, yeah, you did. What, are you shocked? You did. You were there.
I think so. Yeah, I was. That was quite an honor.
What were you talking about?
Climate change. And it was about the fact that we've been talking about climate change for 20 years. It's time to stop talking about it and do something about it. So urgency was a theme in speaking.
Why are there still deniers?
Well, you can answer that as well as I can.
Look at the weather. I mean, how can you deny it?
If you belong to a...
Did you hear what he said? Look at the weather. How can you deny it?
Nuts.
Look at the weather. How can you deny it?
That as well as I can.
Look at the weather. I mean, how can you deny it?
If you belong to a certain group of people that are afraid of change, which I think some people are, and so they're going to deny change when it happens.
So they just deny it. But isn't it obvious that we're going
to? Well, it is to you and to me, and probably is to them, but they don't want to admit it because it means they're going to have to accept change or they're going to have to give up something. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the deal is.
Don't take my word for it. Be skeptical.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.
So we got a letter.
Yes.
From Christian. I won't say his last name. He's drunk again. Sorry, missed to add this. I guess he sent another letter in earlier.
Oh, I saw that. He was drunk, John. Come on. He was. You jumped on him in this email thread, but he was drunk.
Exxon helped to found and lead the Global Climate Coalition, an alliance of some of the world's largest companies seeking to halt government efforts to curb fossil fuel. Exxon used the American Petroleum Institute, right-wing think tanks, campaign contributions, its old lobbying to push a narrative that climate science is too uncertain to necessitate cuts in fossil fuel emissions. You think I jumped on him too much? I jumped on him for my comment that, gee, let me think. I'm an oil company, and I am going, and these guys are attacking my business. so I'm going to do what I can to defend myself. Oh, my God. I can't believe that an oil company would do such a...
I believe you actually wrote all caps OMG. I'm pretty sure you put OMG in the note. OMG, a real OMG. Very good, John. There's a kicker to this Larry King thing. Robert Redford, who, again, Mr. Redford, my mom loved you. My mom was she would just heat up for you.
I met him.
Did he have the crusty ass lips when you met him?
No, I met him real early in the game. This is when I'm in college, and they're doing the movie. I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and we're floating around.
Wait, what was her name? Your girlfriend,
Lucy.
Was she hot?
They're all hot. And so I'm floating around Monterey with her for some reason.
Yeah,
and
I'll bet.
I think I floated around her twice in Monterey. Both times, one time I ran into Paul Newman, and this time we ran into Robert Redford.
She was your lucky. You should have never dumped her. She was your lucky charm. What happened? Did she dump you, or did you dump her?
This is bad. Who cares? You want to hear the story about Robert Redford?
I'd rather talk about Lucy. Are you kidding me? Everybody wants to hear about Lucy.
Yeah, well, it's not what the show's about. So we're there, and there's a bunch of film crew there, and there's a bunch of, and she knew who it was. I didn't know who he was, because this is during the movie The Politician. I think it's like his second movie.
Yeah.
Very old movie. And so she says, "Oh, that's Robert Redford." Who? I said, there he is. Go find out what they're doing. And so she pushes me into this. He's standing by himself over by the side, and I go up to him and start chatting with him. And he's wearing sunglasses, and you could and he's relatively young. You could just tell by the way he's standing with his sunglasses, looking back and forth, wondering
if anyone recognizes him.
Yeah, wondering why I'm talking to him, and there's not a huge crowd around him. You can see it. I said, "So what are you shooting?" He says, "A movie about a politician." I said, "Oh, good." And I said a couple of things, and he's still looking. He's looking. He's actually moving his head, wondering why he hasn't had.
He was probably ogling Lucy.
No, she was too far away. He was waiting for his throng.
How can I dump this guy and get that hot chick? Okay, but now these days, I don't know. 2 words: labello stick, Mr. Redford. Somebody's got to look out for this guy. It's like he just ate a glazed donut. It's all crusty and all chipped.
He needs to wear some chapstick for sure.
This is not okay. Well, he doesn't understand the president.
What do you think of Obama's clean power plan?
Well, I like his plan. I mean,
in other words, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think, look, it's puzzling because he's doing so many great things I really do support.
Oh, great things, just great things.
Then it comes to the Arctic drilling, and I can't put that one together. No. I just can't put that one together.
No.
Because once you start that, once you drill in the Arctic, you're looking at the end game, I think. And so that's puzzling to me because he's doing so many good things, which I totally support. And then something like that comes around, and you say, well, what's going on? It's kind of hard to figure out.
Yeah, well, of course. Look at who funded him. Come on, you know what's going on. You know how it works, Robert. Bob.
He's just pretending.
Just a quick callback to that Noah's Ark thing at the...
well, you're not preoccupied with this.
I am, yeah. Well, you called it out so beautifully. Since when does a scientific gathering have anything to do with the biblical story? This is very good. I really enjoyed this. And this brings me to this clip that was sent to me one of our producers. The Garden of Eden. Where was the Garden of Eden?
It was in the Middle East.
The Garden of Eden was in Missouri. And you can know this by looking at the neutrons in the ice. You can know this by looking at the pollen grains per cubic centimeter in the sediment of ponds. You can know this by looking carefully at the rings on trees during warm seasons, wet seasons, cold seasons, dry seasons. And you can work your way back and figure out that the Garden of Eden was in Missouri. It's still a significant place. And so to have a generation of science students being brought up without awareness of a formula for disaster, I mean, this is, everybody kind of knows that the Garden of Eden was in Missouri.
Who is this idiot?
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Oh, my God.
In Missouri. If you're in Missouri, Don't eat the apples.
That is the most. That is clip of the day for being just outrageous.
If you're in Missouri, John,
right clip of the day.
Just listen to me. If you're in Missouri, whatever you do, don't eat the apples.
Clip of the day. You had to go out of your way to set that joke up.
I loved it.
Wow. You got to take that sub-little clip that just Gardner Eden's in Missouri that went at the end. And he says cocksure.
I think I have it already. I think our producer already subbed it for me. Let me see.
The Garden of Eden was in Missouri. And you can know this by looking at the neutrons in the ice.
Now we know
so the Garden of Eden was real too? But Noah's Ark is real. What is happening? Science is the new religion.
Gone off the deep end.
This is it. We're taking science is the new religion to an extreme where we're scientifically proving these stories. That's what's going on.
There may be an angle like exactly what you said.
There's got to be some kind of. I like it. I think it's grand. Just grand. It's grand, man. I tell you, babe. It's
super.
It's just
super.
It's just totally super. Let me see. As we start to wind it down, I had one more thing here. What I have? Oh yeah, today, snap election in Greece. Not a lot of people talking about it, but this will.
No, it's one of those. Since I'm doing the 3x3, I'm watching network news. I get nothing. There's no real international news.
Preparations are underway for Greece's weekend election, with opinion polls giving no clear winner. The next government looks all but set to be a coalition. Despite the potential cliffhanger, the two main players, former Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras' Syriza party and New Democracy, are both pledging to uphold the terms of the country's €86 billion bailout. Idea Global's Adrian Schmidt.
Whoever wins, I think
that will include overseeing deep economic reforms, including the recapitalisation of the country's banks. They'll also have to unwind the capital controls imposed this year to prevent an implosion of the financial system. But the two parties disagree on key issues, including freeing up the labour market and immigration. And analysts say it's going to take a long time before Greece can be transformed into a more competitive economy. And debt relief may be on the horizon. EU sources have told Reuters that Eurozone governments are ready to cap the country's debt servicing costs at 15% of GDP annually over the long term to help the economy grow.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I didn't know that. We'll have to be on the lookout for that. Well, I'm pretty sure Tsipras will win, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Now, I got a couple of just random stories.
Okay.
There's been a lot of stuff on Dick Cheney. He's pushing his daughter's book, and they've been floating around.
Oh, I've missed all of that. Thank God.
Yes, but anyway, I got some clips of that, but I'd rather play this clip, which is the follow-up clip, where Colonel Wilkerson, who is still irked, he's the guy that was the chief of staff of Colin Powell, and we played clips of him before where they came in and made him change the speeches, and they screwed with this guy. This latest rant by Colonel Wilkerson on Cheney is just definitely worth a listen.
I wish Dick Cheney and his daughter Liz would go away. I realize that we have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights, and it says they have a right to do whatever they want to, but I'm frankly concerned because Dick Cheney ought to be in jail for war crimes. And if he were, and if accountability were really achieved in this country, we wouldn't have to listen to him except through prison bars.
Oh, okay. I'm fighting words.
I found that quite amusing. Another thing I've got here, which is this. Now, just imagine if this story was about an Obama. Just imagine even existing an Obama piñata. But apparently the violence that was wished against Donald Trump has ended up with piñata manufacturers making Donald Trump piñatas where they're just beating the crap.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, there's another local clip.
Oh.
Yikes. ABC 7 News was in the Mission.
Nice transition. Yikes.
District for a Donald Trump piñata bashing party. Organizers say every time the Republican candidate makes an insensitive comment about immigrants, sales of the piñatas in his likeness go up.
It says everything about Latino sense of humor and how we transform something negative into something positive.
Chiraga says today's event celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the contributions immigrants have made to the United States.
Yeah, of course, double standard.
And they got B-roll of little kids whacking the crap out of Trump, knocking his head off.
It's not symbolic at all or anything.
No, there's got nothing to do with it.
But here's the symbolism, John. No, here's the symbolism. When you whack Donald Trump to shit, he's filled with sweet goodness.
Brad, 33. Blitz.
All right. I have, you know what I have?
There's the sports clip that she was looking for.
Yeah, who knew?
iPhone, schmyphone.
Yo, baby. iPhone, schmyphone. That's right. Blockpocalypse is upon us. I'm liking this. I got myself a blocker, an ad blocker, and the pitch that people are using is good. Blockpocalypse.
Did you make that up?
Maybe.
Is that your word, Blockpocalypse? I like that as a show title.
I think so. But maybe I heard it somewhere. It's possible. I can't. I wouldn't want to take credit for it. I may have heard it somewhere.
But we can still use it.
Oh, of course. Blockpocalypse. Now, on the same day that, well, of course, it's in the same iOS 9 release, that Apple comes out with their new news feature, which, I don't know, man, but this is not the solution to news. Although it's nice I can read Wall Street Journal articles for free now. I don't have to pay for them. That's nice. I don't pay for them. Don't send me Wall Street Journal articles because I can't read them. I won't pay for it. I just won't. It's not interesting enough. On the same day, they come in the iOS 9 is, you can download an ad blocker and it will block ads. Now, what is the real benefit besides speed? Because, man, pages load lickety-split right now on the iPhone. But it's also a cost issue. It can cut your mobile bill significantly if you're paying for bandwidth, if you don't have some kind of unlimited plan. That's the pitch. And I think it's good. I like it a lot.
That's a great pitch.
And I'll put in the show notes a couple different ones you can look at. This is so. Of course, we have the news publishers. Are they supposed to be angry, or do they want to look afraid? Or here's John Steinberg. He's of the Daily Mail with a little gotcha in here. See if you can catch it.
Is one of them.
Wait, apps that fight the apps that fight ads?
Tools that publishers can run to burst through an ad blocker. So PageFair is one of them. SourcePoint is another. The other option is that we can begin to first-party ad serve. Rather than using Google's technology, we can literally hard code the ad. We can do that with a native advertisement. We can do that with an image. So this will be something that we are constantly evolving and fighting now.
You realize if you bust the ad blockers, you're doing what USA is doing with its shows. I mean, you're making the user experience worse in order to shove ads down people's throats.
But that's a question of ad load. I'm not saying that there needs to be a balancer as well. And these ads may be less intrusive, they may be flatter, they may load faster. But ultimately, if someone's coming to our site and not paying us anything, we don't really care if they're reading it.
One thing I got to get in on this iOS 9 download issue and the glitches people are experiencing. You got to remember, tens of millions of people, probably an hour in some cases, are downloading this new operating system. So it's just because even a million people have an issue, it's not clear how significant that is. The adoption of this has been faster than iOS 8, according to Mixpanel, and that's important. Hard when everybody's trying.
Now, did you hear it? Did you hear what he said?
About native ads?
No.
About a glitch?
Yeah, I'll play it again. Just a little bit here.
To shove ads down people's throats.
But that's a question of ad load. I'm not saying that there needs to be a balancer as well. And these ads may be less intrusive, they may be flatter, they may load faster. But ultimately, if someone's coming to our site and not paying us anything, we don't really care if they're reading it.
But he's endorsing click fraud. So we don't care if you read the article or not, just as long as you clicked.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a very dim future for news on the open web. Very, very dim future.
Well, I think there's a couple things going on. The click fraud is advertisers have got to get a handle on this because they're getting scammed. And I think the big trend here, which we have to identify early, and I think we have, which is native advertising, cannot be ad blocked.
No, it can't be.
I think at some point in the future, all newspapers are going to be nothing but native ads. There's going to be no ads. There's going to be articles.
Well, that's already
raising one thing or another.
That's already what the news is.
Well, it's getting there. I don't think it's a completely a lost cause, but it's close to bad.
Well, while we're on tech news, I think it's time for the social justice warriors to stand up and call outrage.
Okay.
You are now, with the new release, able to write Arabic in Word on the iPad and iPhone, but not on the desktop or laptop Macs.
Why is this?
It's inequality.
It is.
Yeah.
It's bigotry.
It needs to be stopped.
I agree.
And then this, was it the Prince of Dubai who died at 33?
I didn't know this.
Yes. Let me see. What's his name? Rashid bin Muhammad bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
That guy?
Mm-hmm. So they say, the words, oh, he died, we're so sad. But you know what happened? And I got this from the Angry Arab News Service, which I read religiously, pun intended. He was in Yemen when his own country's troops hit the base he was at with some form of rocket, and he was killed by his own guys. But that's why the 33 is nice to have that in there. But it wasn't a heart attack, as all the. You go ahead. You see. Let's see. Heart attack. It was Dubai's son.
Blow it up.
Let's see. Dubai son heart attack. Let me just see who's mentioning this. USA Today dies of heart attack. Independent dies of heart attack. I wonder if the New York Times has. The CNN dies of heart attack. According to the Angry.
In some way, it is a heart attack.
Yeah. Okay. It's a heart malfunction is what I would call it.
Definitely a heart malfunction when you get bombed.
Heart malfunction. So sorry about that. And finally, just want to make sure that that our moral self-licensing is in check. John, do you have your Doritos rainbow chips?
No.
You saw this?
Yeah, I don't like Doritos that much.
It's amazing what people and companies will do. And, of course, people are, I bought the rainbow chip, so I'm supporting, what am I supporting? LGBTQIAAP.
I think you're supporting the dye industry.
Red number 40.
Well, not that. The other ones, too. Well, right. Here, play this.
Last one? Last one?
Okay.
Last one.
This is a story that going to need some analysis because there's something political about the story. Not sure what it is because it's a sketchy story, but apparently they already started on this project. Play the Vegas bullet train.
China's largest train maker will apparently be helping to build a high-speed train between L.A. and Vegas. The trip normally takes 4 hours by car. The train, an hour and 20 minutes. The bullet train will reach speeds, we're told, up to 150 miles per hour. Construction starts in September of next year.
And where does this go to?
Los Angeles to Las Vegas. That's pretty screwy. It's going to be one of those cool-looking Chinese trains.
Why do that? I mean, flights are cheap. They're easy. I don't understand why you would do that.
It's going to be about the same amount of time, but I think it's to sell China's train builders into the market that's dominated by Siemens and the French guys and the Canadians.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think there's something fishy about it, so we'll keep an eye on it.
All right, everybody, we have the Santa Fe meetup this evening, or this afternoon, 5:30 local time. Looking forward to meeting everybody. We'll have our Colorado Springs meetup tomorrow. It's new on the schedule, but I thought first I would need some time to rest up and turn around, but screw it. I want to see as many people as possible. So come on out, y'all.
So it's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Where is it going to be?
It's on the website, the ilovelaundrytour.com, but I can tell you right now, it is at the Blue Corn Cafe and Brewery.
Ooh, a brewery.
Yep, see you there at 5:30, everybody. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. We need all the help you can get. 700 miles and counting on the I Love Laundry Tour, coming to you from lovely Santa Fe, New Mexico. In the morning, everybody. Hold on. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
Okay, jeez. Having botched his outro, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll talk to you on, well, I guess not. Thursday's no show.
Well, we're supposed to. It could be bull crap.
You think?
So tune in again on Thursday.
I have this group of young, techno experts.
Garden of Eden was in Missouri. And you can know this by looking at the neutrons in the ice. You can know this by looking at the pollen grains per cubic centimeter in the sediment of ponds. You can know this by looking carefully at the rings on trees during warm seasons, wet seasons, cold seasons, dry seasons. And you can work your way back and figure out that the Garden of Eden was in Missouri.
We came. We saw. He died. Amen. Fist bump. He died. He died. He died.
What difference at this point does it make?
We need to kill them. We need to kill them. Bomb them. Bomb them. Bomb them. And bomb them again.
Hey. Listen. You're in my house. Hey. You're in my house. You know what?
Shut up, slave. We need to kill them. We need to kill them.
No.
Shut up already.
Hey.
Bomb them.
Okay.
Bomb them.
You know what?
And bomb them again.
You're in my house.
And bomb them again.
Hey.
Bomb them.
You know what?
Bomb them.
Okay.
And bomb them again.
Listen.
And bomb them again.
Hey.
Bomb them.
We came.
Bomb them.
We saw.
Bomb them.
He died.
And bomb
Amen.
them again. Bomb them.
What difference
Bomb them.
at this point
Bomb them.
does it make?
You can take that to the bank.
Hey.
Bomb them.
Hey.
Bomb them.
Hey.
Bomb them. We need to kill them. Bomb them.
Hey.
Bomb them.
Hey.
Bomb them. We need to kill them.
Hey.
Bomb them again. Kill them. We need to kill them. Bomb them again. Kill them. We need to kill them. And bomb them again.
Shut up, slave.
Don't take my word for it. Be skeptical.
Climate change is real.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
And wash your hands after touching any raw meat.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA